Hi guys, we're live. We are live on the Facebook.
We're live. This is the
Oh
first time I've
boy.
ever been live on Facebook. I'm over on the Facebook. I want to see how this looks, or how do I do? Is there like a direct link I can share with people?
I have no idea. How does this work?
I don't
It
know
takes
either,
it
but
usually, and on the Facebook it takes it takes forever for like people to join. You go live and
yeah, people will start rolling in, right?
mm-hmm.
I found it. Okay, I found it. I'm gonna
Did
share
you?
this out.
Okay.
What's up,
Thank you.
everybody? This is wild.
This is wild.
A whole
So
new world.
I think most of the people on my page though, they already know who you are because I share all of your stuff. I share all of your little Sabrina clips and I put your name and stuff. So, and they all know who you are. So, but you can go ahead and introduce yourself, tell everyone a little bit about you. And
Yeah. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for having me on, Dawn. If you
mm-hmm.
can see in my name, I am a man of many titles. I usually go by Dorian D. Booma San. I don't even think Dawn saw it, but I am also known as the General of the Zombie Apocalypse, according to a man that goes by Gene Decode. So I am General D. Zombie San. I will change that, but I'm the general of the zombie apocalypse. I've had a recent run-in with someone that Sabrina Wallace calls Miss Piggy, and apparently I'm the #1 facilitator of the Sabrina Wallace cult, so that's pretty amazing. And then I got a really angry old man out there that I did nothing but try to help, going by Mike Gill, that said I am the final piece to opening Pandora's box. So I am a very special person, apparently.
Yes.
But I'm glad to be here. But yes, I did not know that Dawn was a freaking celebrity. I didn't know that this was going on over here on Facebook. 49,000 freaking people. What is up, everybody? Oh, I'm seeing some people I even know in here. What's up, everybody? But yes, we're gonna talk about all kinds of stuff. I'm getting the dog all excited, but I
Sorry,
got sucked into.
my dogs will never freaking bark until I go live, and all of a sudden they're like,
I know they feel the energy. That's that biofield
yes.
concurrence, which we'll get into some of that. I got to figure out how to change my name back now so I don't have it the whole time. I'll figure it out. But
I just saw it. I just saw
I
it.
know, right? I'm just having a little bit of fun because all these people have, and especially more recently, and I think it's because of the success that some of us have had in sharing this truth. That is the importance of people understanding what's going on when I talk about all these data centers coming up, the biodigital convergence, biology to digital technocracy that's coming in. You can see it happening in real time. It's literally a matter, I think, still you would say months ago. I don't even think we can say a year ago that you saw this much AI video flood the internet to the point where you don't
Yes.
know what's real anymore.
Yes.
So we've got hi Sam, you're my crush. That's funny. It's good to see you all, and I get to see all kinds of new names because, like I said, I came over here on Facebook and I didn't realize 49 freaking thousand people following Dawn, and this
Yeah,
is
they're
wild.
doing something to me over here. I don't know what.
Right, and I'll edit my name, but basically, I'll give you a quick synopsis of me. At the end of 2019, I went down when I had certain health issues, and when you have health issues, you're not as mobile, and so you end up spending more time on the freaking internet. Well, I started getting all these videos shared with me about like Gitmo and all these guys, these pedos are going to Gitmo and all this stuff. Then I got sucked into the kind of the Q stuff and the Q movement, and I was really excited. I was freaking like, oh my gosh, finally, I've always known the world's fucked up. Finally, somebody's doing something about it. There's these white hats out there. I'm freaking stoked. And then I got sucked into, I was looking for like Christian patriots because of the suffering and because of the pain I was going through my body. I really like drew closer to my faith in Christ. And that's my faith in Jesus Christ. I'm not going to be preaching here, though. I love to talk to people of all faiths and all beliefs. But anyways, that was mine. So I was looking for Christian patriots, and then I came across the gentleman that goes by Gene Decode, and he was covering deep underground military bases, and I was freaking stoked as far as like you never hear about this stuff in churches. You never hear about this stuff being talked about. And I was sucked into it. So I got sucked into Q. I got sucked into deep underground military bases. I ended up emailing Gene Decode, and I got on as one of his coordinators, where we just shared information through email that was coming in as he went on podcasts. And we shared the kind of information that he wanted us to share. Basically, he had like a whole list of question and answer kind of stuff. So people would ask certain questions all the time, and we would copy and paste or work together on getting the answers from Gene and then share them with people. And then I became his video editor, and as I was becoming his video editor, I was becoming more skeptical of him because I was actually listening closer to what was being said, and I was watching what was going on in the world. I was opening my mind to different thoughts and different ways of looking at things, because nothing was going the way they said it was gonna go. And we were just talking before we went on here about the whole when Biden came in, and we thought all shit was going down. It's happening.
Yes,
Military
yes,
stepping in. At that
yes.
time, like Don, if you want to share, you can. But I'll share. I will share, and I'll confess. I was texting people that I hadn't talked to in years. Well, some of them months, but a couple of them like a long time, like that I had worked with at Starbucks a long time ago. And I told them, like, have extra food and water, be prepared for anything. I think shit's going down, because the idea was is that they had to commit the crime. They had to stick their hand in the cookie
Right.
jar, commit the crime, and at that point, the military can step in, because the baddies, the deep state, whatever you wanted to call them, the cabal, had committed the crime of the century. They stole the presidency, and they were going to step in and save the day. And that didn't happen. However, they made it look that way, look like something was going on with some of these people. Like you had Pelosi walking in with the marshals, and they were saying, "Don't say anything," and she's like, "I won't." And like you had certain senators that looked like they might have handcuffs on. So you had all these narratives that were going on. People saying that children were being saved underneath the dumbs, underneath the White House. You had all these. That was Simon Parks, and then Gene Decode paired to that.
Yes.
And so, anyways, over time, doing the video editing at the August of 2023, I ended up breaking off with Gene Decode, and it became a crazy ending, because he was accusing me of being the reason that kids were dying in Maui. He was saying that I would be the reason that the Chinese would come on our shores and take 10 to 12 US cities. And so he was basically saying that I am pulling the entire world into the apocalypse timeline. All because I said that he is not the power that be. He is not holding the universe together. And it caused such a stir that it, like, he couldn't handle it. His pride couldn't handle it. And so then I left. And then the next day, his wife calls me and asks if I could stay on as the video editor, because they didn't have anybody. And I was like, no, I'm freaking done with this guy. And then shortly after that, he started telling everybody that I tried to have him murdered. And so then I freaking held on to that for a long time, went off and did my own thing, just a small little channel. I never really wanted to do this. I didn't want to be the face of anything. I wanted to work kind of behind the scenes, and I had fun doing that kind of stuff, working with the team. But I was like, I'm going to finally just do my own thing. And over time, I started to question more things, and then some things happened, and I kind of started going after a lot of these people that I've seen as grifters, and I started to really question. They'd say question everything. I started to question all these truthers. I started to question Q. I started to question all these things, and I found answers that I wasn't exactly happy about, but it didn't make me a very popular person. However, I felt like I was actually following the truth wherever it leads, and now we're seeing that the guy that we put in, well, I did vote for him this last time. Donald Trump was supposed to be the president of peace, and now he's got war with Iran going on, and he's got the Department of War, and he's doing everything opposite of what he promised to do on the campaign trail. Now you can think what you want. I'm not mad at anybody that still believes in Q or any of that. I don't like these people that are psyoping the crap out of people and making up stories and making tons of money from it. Even if you
Right.
believe in Q, a lot of these Q influencers are making money, and it's like, be careful who you follow. And a patriot is selfless, and some of these people are making tons of money. They've got retirement stuff set up, gold and silver in their names. They've got the Mellow Lucas scam, which is how I found out Scott McKay was a lying grifter. They've got all these products and stuff that they peddle, and then they got all their lies. Some of these guys have been wrong about everything, and here we are.
You have to definitely talk about the Melaleuca thing, because I like many years ago, my aunt was into Melaleuca. This was before it was the Patriot stuff, like way, and
Yeah.
she was like, "Oh, you want to buy some Melaleuca?" So I did a little bit, and she put me.
Sure.
She's like, "I'm going to put you underneath me on your thing," and I never sold it or did anything with it, but apparently that was a thing. You buy it and you get, put under, and you make money off the MLM
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it is an MLM, but it's technically because they're geniuses in the sense of they, as in it's Mormon. The head guy's
Really?
he's the richest guy in Idaho. Frank Vandersloot. He is the creator of it, and he's the richest guy in Idaho. He's a billionaire, and he's a genius when it comes to MLMs. And a lot of the Mormons like the MLMs. And I'm not trying to be an asshole to anybody. I'm not even saying like Melaleuca is shit. I'm just saying that's something that I didn't know going into it. Didn't know until people that I actually was trying, that I was doing the thing with, because the way they make you do it. And I started doing this while I was still with Gene Decode. I joined what Scott McKay called Operation Tomahawk. But the first person to do it in the Truther movement was Nino Rodriguez. Nino, big
Hmm.
ex-boxer dude.
Oh,
If
I
anybody
remember he was selling it on his.
Yes. He called it the Patriot Switch, and then of course Scott
Yes.
McKay wanted to call it Operation Tomahawk. All it was an operation to get you on the phone, and then the way Melaleuca does it, you're not allowed to tell anybody what it is. You have to give them like a spiel. You have to do it on the phone or on a Zoom, and you walk them through the steps of how it works, and you buy a certain amount, and everything's worth a certain amount of points, and then as you accrue that, you get bonuses and all this kind of stuff. So, anyways, like I got sucked into that, and at first, the idea was so I'm not here to bash on Melaleuca. That's never been my thing. My problem is that Scott McKay and Nino and these guys, and you'll find it called Switch Away, you'll find it called other things. They've got Q influencers like News Treason and some of these other guys pushing it now. It's all the same thing. It's Melaleuca. Patriot Underground has the same thing. Jaco did it for a while, but I don't know if he's still doing it because he has all kinds of other products and stuff like that. But anyways, Scott McKay sold it as though it was going to be the first business that was done like the patriotic way, like the new republic that was going to
Right.
be restored here by the White Hats that was coming soon, and it was going to be the first example of that. And right away, it was just like every other MLM, and I've never done MLMs, but I was told like this by other people in it that basically like all the leads just started going to the people they wanted to have the leads, and all the people that they wanted to make the most money were going to make the most money, and it
Wow.
wasn't shared evenly, and everybody
Wow.
just started to fight for the leads, and it was controversial and it was ridiculous. And I even told Gene Decode, who well, we can get to him in a little bit. He's a piece of shit. He's a psychopath. Gene Decode is a psychopath. He's let's just to let you know, I didn't know any of this stuff till afterwards. But I went to Gene Decode, and I'll tell you about Gene Decode in here in a moment. I'll finish this up with the Scott McKay Melaleuca thing. But I told Gene, I was like, this seems like it's all about the money. Like Scott McKay and Nino, like say they're trying to fight the cabal. This was supposed to cut off the cabal's money supply. It was supposed to be support American owned business because it's made in America. It's Melaleuca's a U.S. Based business. They do, I think, send to some other countries in Canada and stuff like that, but I think it's a U.S. based whatever in Idaho. But then Gene said they came to him and asked him, and they said this is going to be a huge moneymaker. And so even Gene confessed to me because I was his video editor at the time, and we were working more closely together in the sense that we talked regular, text regularly. And he told me that him and Nino both came to him and said it was going to be a huge moneymaker. So they tried to sell it to Gene like a money making operation. So I know from inside that these asshats were all just trying to do it for the money while telling everybody that it was supposed to cut off the cabal money
Right.
supply, and the White Hats were about ready to take over. So
Right.
the first person that I started to really just think that was just a complete grifter was Scott McKay. And I had one opportunity where me and one of my guys called Scott McKay and confronted him, and it turned into like a decent conversation. But Scott McKay is really good with words. He's a radio guy. Anyways, he convinced us it wasn't going to be such a bad thing, and then afterwards it was like nothing ever changed, and just continued forward. So I wrote Scott McKay off, and then when things started to go south with Gene Decode, all that drama happened that I just talked about earlier. And then after that, I found out that Gene Decode is a swinger, and it's well known in the area that he's from. So him and his wife practice swinging, and he brags about his wife having slept with over 100 people. And this is something that they love to do. And so he acts like he's some big Christian, big time Christian guy, which he's
Right.
not. And then he also took the jabs, and he pretends to be a hero in the truther movement against the bioweapons and the jabs and the COVID vaccines, all this stuff, you know. And he actually took them. And I know that. I found that out after I did a video where I first called him out because he made me put in these AI images for some video. And I didn't want to do it. And he said, "Oh, it's just because," I was like, "Gene, it even says that they're AI." And he's like, "No, they have to say that so the deep state doesn't take them down." But I'm looking at these closely, and I'm like, "This is AI." And these are pictures taken from inner Earth. Like this was the video we were doing. We were doing Admiral Byrd and Inner Earth, but they were completely AI generated for like a class project or some crap. And so, anyways, he made me do that, and that was another reason why I broke off with him. And then all the drama happened. But I did the video calling him out, and it brought a bunch of people together that had left the team for similar reasons. They found out that he was a fraud. All the dumbs decodes that Gene Decode has ever done were done by other people. They weren't done by him. They were done by people that didn't have any expertise in it. They were just looking at symbolism in certain areas and jotting those down as possible dumbs. And then Gene would look it over, and they thought that he would take them to his military intel, his insiders, and then they would tell us if it was true or not, and blah, 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 blah. He just took them all as they were and then went on podcasts and started putting it out there as if it was gospel. And then he would add his
Wow.
pluses and minuses, saying it was alliance control and black hat control. So he's just you find out that some of these people are complete frauds. Like I said, found out Scott McKay, complete fraud. Okay, thought just a bad apple in the bunch. Find out Gene Decode is not just complete fraud, he's a psychopath. And he's actually threatened the lives of certain people. So that's why I've called him out so hardcore. And then I go searching and I find out that it's pretty much a whole network of con artists. So if you follow some of these people, just understand I'm not against you, but I speak my mind because in a way, I'm a whistleblower from inside the cult of Gene Decode that is known as Blessed for Service. So there you go, a nice little intro to me. And I'm very controversial because a lot of people don't like their heroes being challenged or these
Right.
things being said about people that
Yes.
they love. And I get it.
Yes.
I fought for these people too, but they lied to us over and over and they're still doing it. So,
There was a whole movement of the truthers, women truthers coming out and selling the Melaleuca. And I mean, they took over Instagram, tons of them, and they were outing, supposedly outing all of the stuff. And then in behind the scenes selling the Melaleuca. And then eventually they were selling beef and stuff too, right? They had like,
yeah, the
and they
beef
were
came
like,
in. That was a big thing.
yes, they were hardcore. They'd be in your inbox all the time. Hey.
Right. Right. I didn't like that. And then you had a lot of people. So the thing about Melaleuca, like I said, it's technically a consumer direct company, but it operates like an MLM. Every month you have to have a minimum of a certain amount, which equals anywhere between 80 to about $110 for a low end that makes all the points. Like I've seen it, like when I was part of it, I was like, figure out the lowest amount of stuff you can get and how much it'll cost, and you're going to spend between 80 and $110 even on the low end. And so you have to do it every single month. And we're dealing with in this, and then this is during the Biden economy too. Like this is during like the transition from Trump to Biden, where
Yes.
everything started to change and it started to get worse. Now here in the Trump, this administration at least, for whatever reason, it's not necessarily getting any better. But things weren't good for a lot of people, and they were on hard times. And so when they asked, we're like, why can't I just buy when I want something? And you can, but you're going to spend even more money because that's the benefit of being a monthly member is
Right.
that you get
Right.
like the lower prices. That's how they suck you into these things. And so it was really just it broke my heart talking to people and trying to get them to sign up for this while I still believed in it as being something that was going to like take down the cabal's money supply. We were going to challenge BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard and all these companies, and we were going to suck the lifeblood out of these corporate businesses that are
Yes, I
evil,
remember they were
right?
posting,
And
"Don't
then
go to Walmart when you can shop here." And they
right.
did the video of they'd get their package and they'd be unboxing it. And then they were outing all the stuff. So everyone was like, "Oh my God, yeah, I want to be part of this."
Yeah, that's a lot of them got us because they were against COVID. And then you find out guys like Gene
Yes.
Decode took the vaccine. It's freaking crazy. But a lot of these people, that's what they jumped up. Like Nino Rodriguez, Charlie Ward, a lot of these characters really popped up in 2020 when it was announced, when the COVID
Yep.
thing happened, and everybody all of a sudden was at home watching more videos and online more.
Yes.
They orchestrated the whole thing on
Yep.
purpose, the way that I've been able to dissect it and go back and the work that I've done.
100%.
And that's what they did. They put their operatives in place. And even if look, Nino's got a great personality. There's things about him that I just love. Charlie
Yes.
Ward is that chubby guy that has that awesome accent where you're like, yes. Simon Parks was one of the guys that I was like big into for a time, and he sounded like a really like a professor. Like he has an
Yes.
accent and he speaks as though he has an
Me
educated
too.
mind. And then you find out that this guy believes that he has sex with aliens and has
Yes.
alien
I
children.
remember that. I remember that.
What the fuck? So, anyways, like these guys are charming and they put them in place, and they have you have the Gene Decodes, Carrie Cassidy's, and the people that are more into like the reptilians and the Alpha
Yes.
Draco are in control, and like the Anunnaki, and you get into that. And then you have the Ninos that's kind of like up and down in his emotions, and he's like, what is this saying about the apocalypse or whatever, where he gets you all excited. Anyways, he has like his really vibrant personality and he sucks people in, but he's like one of these guys that's like up and then he's down, up and down. So you can relate to it because it's like he seems like a normal person because some days he's depressed. Sometimes he's like not doing well. Well, I haven't tuned into him as much lately, but he seems like he's a lot happier these days because the guy's made probably tens of millions at this point
Wow.
because of his he has a paywall, so he's at the Nino's corner. He's got the general's tent for the upgrade. Melaleuca's made him so much money along with Scott McKay, and then they partner on with guys like 107 that connect him into other things, whether it's the Kirk Elliott's and the other names that come through the Truther movement that get you in the gold and silver. If you're going to buy gold and silver, just buy it for yourself and have it in hand. Don't go through another business. Don't let them hold your gold and silver. Don't have them tell you what to do. Just look at the spot price, get something that's freaking insured, and get it. I don't get it, but
Hmm.
people
Oh
keep
yeah.
falling for it. And I say that the time of 2020 to 2021 to 2, when people still believed it was all happening behind the scenes, and some of you might still believe that, I don't fault you for it, because people want to believe good things are happening. I get it, and we'll get into the biodigital convergence and how everybody calls us doomers and black pillars and
Yeah.
all this stuff, and we're just trying to tell you like a reasonable explanation for what's really going on, as
Right.
opposed to all this white hat fairy dust, unicorn rainbows shooting out of their asses. So it's just, I mean, it was the juiciest time for the grift. Grift meaning that they knowingly are telling you things that are not true. They know they're
Yes.
not true, but they're what you want to hear, and they know that they have the pocketbooks open, especially. And if you notice in the Truther movement, the Q movement, it's not all the case. It's like 90% white people. 90, and out of that 90%, I would say 60% or more are women.
Yep.
They have the pocketbook. They have the
Yep.
money. They're middle class America, and they just sucked the fucking money out of everybody as much as they could. And a lot of them are Christian. A lot of them are good meaning people and patriots that really want to see. I saw someone posting in here, yes, save the children. That's what they
Yes.
come in on. They are now, in my opinion, and this is some of the unpopular opinions that gets people upset. But I see a lot of you in here, and yes, I've been called Fed. I've been called CIA recently, all that stuff. And I am part of the CIA, the Cat Intelligence Agency. So I have
Me
cats out of
too.
the cats everywhere at this house.
Yes.
So,
Got a
anyways, it
whole
was
shitload of cats.
right. We've got like 13 to 16 ferals outside that we got a lot of them fixed. All but one male kept his you know what's. It's pretty masterful that he was able to avoid the traps.
They
Anyways,
multiply so fast. Like,
oh, that
dude.
I love them to death. But now we have the last batch from like the original mama cat that we call her Spooks that comes around. But we got 5 cats and they're about teenage age and they are getting into trouble and able to jump up onto counters and stuff like that they couldn't do not that long ago. And I love them to death. But man, they challenge your temperament.
Oh yeah.
Ah!
I haven't had a good night's frickin' sleep. Who knew cats like 3 a.m. Partay. I parkour off the walls. I mean, if you're not out of bed by 5 a.m., they're like, hey, 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 hey.
Yeah, we don't so like the 5 that we have inside, it's kind of like how you do kennel training or I don't what is it called? It's like the little for at night. I don't want to call it a cage, but it's it's a nice sized little thing that you put them in, and they get trained to stay in there overnight. Well, we have that set up for the kittens, so the kittens go into their little space or
Nice.
whatnot, and it's a nice little size, and they can climb up and down, and they got stuff to play with in there, and food and water. So they get put away for the night, and so they don't get to do whatever they want at night, and they don't get to wake us up when we don't want to be woken up. So it's kind of nice. But it's
Yeah.
better than them being out there fending for themselves and possibly getting shot or ran over and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, I need to get a cat update. It's just been kind of wild. Like we've seen such crazy weather, and we were talking about that. Everybody in this house has been kind of sick and dealing with stuff. I think
Hmm.
it's from the snow, from the spring. So that's another thing. I know a lot of people. When I was on Gene Decode years ago, he was saying that they had swapped out the bad chemtrails for the good ones and that it was clearing the atmosphere in the
Yes, making us
skies
healthy again.
and and these guys as the influencers still pushing the white hat save the world kind of a thing are having a harder time convincing people when the snow comes down and it's filled with all the junk that has been reported that's in the snow. They're still poisoning the shit out of us, and they're still augmenting us, and that is why the biodigital convergence is where I landed in the search for truth.
Right.
So I've exposed a lot of psyops. I've searched for the truth. Someone started sharing the Sabrina Wallace stuff with me. I listened to some of her videos, and I was like, I have no fucking idea what she's talking about, but it makes sense at
Yes.
the
I
same
remember. Yeah.
time.
I remember the first time, because I didn't want to go on X. I was like, I've just always been on Facebook. And then people were like, you got to come on X and help us over there, like help with the research. And I was finally like, shit, okay, I'm going to do it. And you made a post you made a clip of Sabrina and Polly. Amazing Polly came
Right.
out of the woodwork and talked shit about Sabrina in your comments. And I was like, hell no, I know, hell no. And at that point you weren't sure about any of it, so you kind of like were like, I don't,
Right. Oh,
and I
I
was
liked
like,
Amazing Polly
yes,
at
and I
first.
was like, fuck that bitch. I was pissed because I'm like,
Hmm.
nobody talks about my girl Sabrina. But
I tried
then
to be kind of cool
yes,
because
you were.
I'd covered the wellness company. It was like the new narrative network that Amazing Polly had exposed. A lot of the
Yes.
technocrats. And then she got herself in trouble when she exposed the wellness company. And then you find out that her husband works for a company. And I didn't know this at the time when that happened, because later on I went to war with Amazing Polly, and now she has me blocked and she wants nothing to do with me. And I let her fucking have it. But at that time, yes, I was still kind of like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why Amazing Polly has a problem with Sabrina. But then you find out Amazing Polly has a husband that works for a company that should be something that she's against. And once that came out, like she's been basically handcuffed and more quiet, less videos and stuff like that. But she's on the internet all fucking day on X talking shit to whoever she wants to talk shit to. And she brought it to me later on, same kind of thing, and I went to war with her for a brief time, and then she fucked off. So, so that's kind of it's been a
Yeah,
thing where like I've slowly learned more about the biodigital convergence to feel more comfortable with it.
right.
And but like there's that transitionary period where like I don't fucking know. I believe that Trump was working with the fucking Galactic Federation saving
Oh
the
my god.
world.
Listen, the Galactic Federation, there was this dude, Ismail Perez was his name. And
Yes,
you remember that dude?
I
I bought
watched
his
him
book.
come in.
Yes, me too. He came in with
Yes.
the group of people that I was watching, and they were all doing lives together. And I bought his book, and dude,
Hmm.
he was on a live one day and he freaking said, I'm the leader of this ship. I'm on the Galactic Federation and I'm on the ship all the time. And I'm like, once he said that, I'm like, dude, what the hell? So then telling people, I'm like, this dude's a fucking crook, lying bastard, and everyone's blocking me.
Yeah.
How dare you talk about him? He's part of the Galactic Federation. He was telling us there's going to be like a catalyst event, and they were going to come
Yes.
in on ships and
Yes.
save the chosen ones only, though, just the chosen ones. The star seeds.
Right? Yes, the
Dude.
star seeds. Gene
Yes.
Decode used to do star seed readings, but he used to contradict himself. So he was doing them, and it was like the height of Gene Decode, where he was. I mean, he was like one of the biggest names for a long time because he's the only one doing deep underground military bases, even though it was all bullshit. I think there are deep underground military bases. I think there are things like that going on, but he was making up bullshit just to sell it because he wanted to have
Yes.
attention. He loves worship. A lot of these people, I think Gene, even in Gene's case, even though he wants the money, I think that he loves the praise and he basically wants to be a cult leader. Like it gets even worse with him. But Ishmael Perez, I watched him come in. I believed in Elena Denon, Megan Rose. You know these names?
No, listen. I paid let me tell you, okay? Let me tell you what a fucking idiot I was. I paid
Oh, I was
five
there.
I paid $500. Well, my husband, I should say, because I'm a stay-at-home wife. He paid $500 for me to take astrology lessons, okay? From Missy's Astrology. She was part of them, and she was the one that brought Ishmael on, and she's like, buy his book, and after all the shit, then he's saying all this weird stuff. So when we're in astrology classes one day, behind the scenes, I'm like, what's up with this dude? And she's like, because he's out there like, I'm a god, I'm this, I get my downloads. And she says to us, oh, he's just a regular guy. He eats pizza and drinks Coke like everyone else. He ain't. And I was like, really? Oh, really?
Right. Right. These guys are all frauds. I'm telling you.
Yes.
The internet is so when you think about like the elites or whatever you want to call them, the people in control, the people that have rolled out the internet for their purposes, even though they always make it seem convenient for us, they want all this stuff in our hands, and they want these routers in our homes. You find out about Sabrina Wallace, where she was helping move from dial-up to Wi-Fi, and this is a military operation where they're putting this shit in our homes, but they need us to use it and want to use it, and this is what happens. But the internet itself is controlled in a lot of ways to the maximum, really. The algorithms are in the favor of people with mental illness and that tell the biggest fucking lies that exist in the world.
Yes.
And people believe it because it's like TV. It's like where you fall in love with celebrities because they're on the television. Now it was like all of a sudden we find out the celebrities are satanic and they're drinking adrenochrome and they're eating babies. And a lot of this stuff is true. But then you fell in love with the new celebrity, which became the influencer. And that's what we're seeing. There are influencers that have nothing to do with any of this talk. They don't get into politics necessarily. They're just distractions, and they talk about the dumbest crap, but they have millions of followers. And they just use their platform to it's like the Kardashians on steroids, where it's just you learn nothing, but it gets people to show up in a chat room and have conversations, and they're just hanging out with their besties online, and they don't really care about learning anything, and it's just the dumbing down of all of humanity.
Yes, definitely the dumbing down of all of humanity.
Well, yes, and while rapidly they deploy more of these. I mean, it was like 5G, but now it's moved on to 6G. Now it's to the point where it's 7G net-centric warfare, which has been happening for a while. They're running the internet through us. They're harvesting our energies. They are causing illnesses. They are feeding their healthcare system. And there are no answers that any of these truthers or Q decoders and influencers have answers for. And none of them, if you just recognize, and if you still believe in them, I'm not here to like bash you. I'm just saying, ask this question yourself. Do they ever go on with anybody that's not in their fucking network? They don't. They don't have anybody like me on to debate because I want to, and I've tried to allow them to come on and have a debate with me. And I don't, and they think that I'm trying to make a name for myself on them. So I'm like, fucking excuses, but they don't have answers for so many things when it comes to the Q operation and why the world is going the way it is, why it seems like Trump's owned by Israel, and why we're still being sprayed by poisons, and healthcare 4.0, 5.0 is rolling in rapidly, and there's been no remedy to the treason that's been committed by stealing an election, which has probably been happening for almost every election, and then the rollout of the COVID debacle, pandemic, whatever. There's been no remedy for that treason.
None. None.
Hey, Valeda. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm seeing some names. Sean, what's up? Sean Elmer. I'm seeing some people I know, and then I know that Solana. So hello to everybody over that's watching on Zoom with Solana, who has biofield practices that she does for free on Wednesdays and
Yes.
Sundays. And so tonight they're doing one, and they're getting ready to in the next little over 20 minutes. So hello to everybody that's on the Zoom
Yes.
watching over there. Some people aren't on Facebook, so they're watching via Zoom and streaming it.
Yes.
So
And
I hope you
Solana,
all are
for
doing well.
anyone on my page, and everybody always asks about Biofield, Solana has free classes. You can join what she does them on Wednesdays, Sundays, and
Solana
uh-oh.
does Wednesdays and Sundays. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yes, I hear you now. Yep.
Okay, cool. So yeah, they're getting ready to do one here at the top of the hour. But yeah, so it's just been wild, like all these truthers or whatever, and like he even got like the Journey to Truth guys, which I like those guys for a while. If you ever heard of them, they'll have on the kind of guys like I don't know if Ismael Perez ever made it on there, but they'll have on the guys like Gene Decode and stuff like that. And I've tried to warn them, not that they care about me or anything like that, and I'm a small channel, but all these guys say, like Patriot Underground, I'll search for truth wherever it leads. Nino, I'll search for truth wherever it leads. No, you won't. You'll search for whatever makes you the most money. And
Right.
the
Right.
Trump grift is the greatest grift the world has ever seen.
Nick.
When this, that dog's probably hearing me freaking going nuts. When all is said and done, Trump might be the greatest con man that the world has ever seen. Now, there's a lot of people that never trusted Trump, and they're like, "Oh, you're ridiculous for saying that." You don't understand the influence that the Reawaken tours had, the Truther movement had, the Patriot push, the MAGA movement. These really were, because of the internet, some of the biggest things that have ever happened in the modern times with the internet. And they pushed Trump hard, and they made it look like he was going against the cabal, the big
Yes.
system. He was fighting the deep state. He caught them all. He's going to take them all down. And then you still have people pushing that everybody's been replaced. It's all actors and it's all a movie. And yet we're still being poisoned. People are still dying of addiction, fentanyl, all the things that have been going on as the illegals that have crossed our border during the Biden presidency, which many argue Trump was in charge during that time too, which is retarded at this point to think. And I don't even want to get into that conversation. But anyways, if you still think that Trump was like in charge while Biden was in there, and that this all isn't being orchestrated, and that they're all working as one as a uniparty at this point, like let's have that conversation. But none of those truthers and none of the Q influencers will have that conversation. They stay away from that. Or if they do, it's in a safe environment where they talk about it as if
Right.
they do, but then they only go so far to say that they talk about it, and then they keep people plugged into the Q teats, if you will.
Yep.
Just sucking on that save the world,
Oh,
save the
yes.
children, trust the plan kind of thing. And it sucks because now they are the new layer of protection for the pedophiles. The truther movement and a lot of the influencers that are online right now that have anything to do with geopolitics, politics, Galactic Federation, all that stuff. This is just the new cover for these bloodline families to continue to rape, pillage, and destroy the world and bring in the new control grid, which Sabrina Wallace is saying our future looks like the movie Blade Runner, if you've ever watched the old one or the newer one with Ryan Gosling, who was on the Mickey Mouse Club with Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, and is all part of that pedophile fucking network that grooms these children into becoming the stars that they are so that they distract the masses and control them. Unfortunately, I feel bad for them to some degree. Like the Justin Biebers, the Britney Spears of the world. If the real ones and originals still exist, it's a sad existence because the what they do to these children, the willingness of parents to sell their children into this cult in order to be part of the club disgusts me, and it's still going on, and these people are giving us fairy tales when we all should be like actively doing shit
Right.
to stop it. And you should be asking these people that made all this money off of Melaleuca and the merch and all the money that they've made off of the gold and silver with guys like Kirk Elliott and whatnot, what have these guys done to create organizations to fight human trafficking? What have these
Right.
guys done to go and
That's how
challenge?
Nino came out. his
That's it. I
that's how
know.
he came out with his big breaking story about that.
Yes. He talked about adrenochrome. He talked about how he rubbed shoulders with people like Oprah.
Yes.
He talked about how
Yes.
he had inside knowledge that the military was taking down the large pedo rings and that Hollywood was no more. And here we are all these years later, and they're still doing all their satanic shit that they can do, and they're still poisoning people, and they're still killing people with all
Right?
this crap. Like, you see what was
Yes.
in the snow, you see the weather warfare, you see the hurricanes happening in Florida, you see the dew weapon unleashed on Maui. Like, we gotta wake up and actually like get involved somehow. Like, these
Mm-hmm.
people that are the influencers that have much of the influence, that have all this money now, could just put some of that together and create something that could help save the world, and they don't. Or they don't coordinate. Say you get like and all these guys are shills in my opinion, but if you had like a Joe Rogan, a Russell Brand, a Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones, and then you get down to the Ninos and the Scott McKays and the Jacos and the Kerry Cats, if they all just came out at the same time and we're going to do nothing but cover the human trafficking and tell people to get involved with your local courts, get involved with CPS in your local area, and be hawks and watch how they operate. Stop these DAs from releasing criminals back onto the street that have committed murder, rape, the illegals that have gotten away with abominations and released to just go do it again. These kinds of people should be held accountable. What does that look like? I'm not saying anything about violence right now, but there's levels to this where we could be actively working together in our local areas as groups and as more people, and standing against the abominations that are still going on. While a large portion of the people that do connect online more are being distracted and pacified by woo woo fairy tale bullshit. Get
it's it's
involved.
it's frustrating because I've been posting the same thing for 3 years, and yet I still see people on my feed constantly like arguing left versus right, left. It's like, dude, they're doing this to
They're the
all of
same
us.
team.
Okay. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat, black, white, Mexican. They're doing this to all of us. Okay. It's like
Yes.
they're doing this horrible things to people. I had no idea before I started posting this stuff. Like, I had no idea. My messages, I don't even read my messages on Facebook. I apologize to I apologize to anyone on my Facebook. I don't read my messages anymore because like people were sending me things like they will send me pictures of stuff they're pulling out of their body, things,
Yeah.
the targeted individuals like sending me
Yes.
pictures of things down their throat that they pulled out of their nose. People have sent me pictures of their feces. And it's like,
Yeah.
dude, I mean, I'm an empath, and that like it bothers me, and I can't. It's crazy. They're doing horrible things to people, and they make these people look crazy, So the people are trying to say
Yes.
this is happening to me. I'm getting burned. I'm being, and everybody laughs, and they're like, "No, these people are crazy. Oh, go do some more meth." No, they're doing this to these people. We've seen the proof now. We go and do no, they're doing it to these people.
Right? More gellins. We saw the clots. We saw the various things. I think a lot of that had to do with that Tesla phoresis that the Rice University put out, where all the nano pieces come
Mm-hmm.
together. So they basically can have all these like smart dust and nano like particles dropped on us, put in our air, food, and water, and then intaked into the body. And then inside the body, they will form the chips that they need to communicate and to become more nodes and a more powerful
Right.
antenna inside the body. And the targeted individuals, I've seen an increase now that I'm working more with like YouTube, because Rumble has turned out to be a shit show ever since I started exposing the Q operation. Once I started exposing Q, my numbers on Rumble went, and they do not like me. Anyways, YouTube's been more favorable, even though a lot of these platforms committed freaking abominations during certain periods of time. Let's not get into it. I don't want to get anybody in trouble here. But so the targeted individuals, though, I feel for a lot of people because they're coming and they're like looking for help. Now, remember, we are all targeted. They're targeting all of us. They're putting this stuff in all of us. Now, some might be
Yes.
more targeted. Yes, experiments. I think so. That's my take. I'm not trying to say I know everything, but I think that there are certain people, maybe certain genetics, some people that might be more
Yes.
more sensitive to these things, which in some ways is a good thing because your body is actively telling you this stuff. However, it comes in the form of pain. When I went down with my health stuff and I think about what's going on in the world, I think that some of this stuff was involved as well. I literally went from doing massage on like the coast in Oregon, a beautiful area, politically not great, but a lot of cool people still, really beautiful area, doing massage, and then all of a sudden my body just like stopped functioning. I couldn't feel and use my arms. Like various things were happening to my body that were very strange. I still have a lot of issues like with my neck and my back and stuff that I'm still working through to today. But when people show you stuff coming out of their skin, the various like rashes or the various burns,
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that's
Yes.
showing up when they try to sleep, the various losing of hair, and all this kind of thing that we're seeing now. This is an what seems to be an amping up of these technologies that are being unleashed on humanity to the point where you will own nothing and be happy. They want 15-minute cities. You will not be able to leave your designated area unless maybe unless maybe you're really high profile in the job that you do. But robotics and AI is going to take over most of the jobs. They want us to stay put, and you will not be able to leave your designated Hunger Games district, as
Yes.
Juxtaposition puts it, or your 15-minute city, whatever you want to think of it as. And if people don't start waking up to this stuff and they think it's just a ridiculous joke, well, then it's not going to be very fun to say, I told you so. Now, when I believed in the white hat saving the world, I was looking forward to saying, I told you so. And then come here, I'm going to give you a hug.
Yes.
Now it's like, okay, now when we're all in our 15-minute cities or our concentration camps and all that shit, I'm going to be like, I told you so. And this fucking sucks now.
And they're building it right around us. I like where I live, they put the fiber cables underground all up and down all these roads here. They've changed out all the lights, everything. I mean, if people aren't looking up and seeing the cameras and the freaking drones everywhere, come on, people,
Yeah.
wake up.
And they have it. And I did some work with Juxtaposition. Sabrina did some work with Juxtaposition. He's a tough personality, but he does lay it out well as far as the
Yes.
military operation that is the Ring doorbell, which now you see videos everywhere. You can literally go online now and just watch video after video of whether it's cameras that are on cars, street lights in the cities, put on homes. So basically, think about this too. Like these aren't just individual cameras. Like people that have the ability can hack into all of these things. People can take control of most cars after a certain date that have the computers and the might and the chips in them. They could run you off the road. And
Yes.
Hesh, anybody? No one's talking about Anne Hesh still, even though she freaking looked like she sat right up on that gurney and then just disappeared. Very strange. And she was going to expose some pedophilia and some shit that was going on in the industry. It does seem. Anyways, we could get into Chris Cornell. We could get into Chester Bennington and all the various people that have died along the way trying to expose the stuff inside the cult. It did seem like. But they are able to tap into all these cameras. So therefore, they have surveillance. The surveillance state is here. The surveillance state, as far as like the future that we might have for ourselves, is if this keeps going the way it's going, where things will continue to break out, and for our safety, military and National Guard will have to be on the grounds, and they will be watching us, and they will be. It'll be a fucking dystopian nightmare,
Yes.
and who knows how they're gonna run it because they say you'll own nothing and be happy, and various movies that you can watch make you really nervous about maybe they actually do give us like frequencies that make us into like zombies that are like appreciative of no matter what the circumstances are. We're
Right.
just, hey Don, it's so great to be on this podcast. I got to leave my house 10 feet outside of my perimeter today. It was so beautiful out there. How's
they
your life now that you can't
they've
leave and go anywhere? It's great, right?
do you remember like once upon a time it wasn't a good thing to be a snitch. Now these motherfuckers literally video you. She didn't use her blinker. Video it, put it on your neighborhood Facebook page with your freaking driver's your license plate right there. They're like, go get her.
They've made it
Dude.
popular to be a fucking snitch. It used to
Oh
be like one
yeah.
of those things. Snitches get stitches, motherfuckers.
Yes.
Like
Now
you
the
go snitching
snitches
on
are like
Snitches are working together all over the
Yes.
place, and they fucking love it.
Oh yeah.
It goes right into the trolling and bullshit that we see too. The more that we expose on this biodigital convergence, the more we get attacks, and we get these various people coming in and making up
Hmm.
narratives on us. Like I said, I've been called everything now. I was Gene Decode said that I'm the general of the zombie apocalypse on the apocalypse
Right.
timeline, and I'm CIA, I'm a Fed, I'm this, I'm that, and
Yeah.
all this stuff. It's like it's the same damn thing. It's snitches and narratives these days. Those guys are doing well and probably getting paid to fucking do it as operatives.
I wish I was making some damn money on this because I ain't making a penny.
I know,
I ain't
right?
making a damn penny. I'm just out
I
here
know.
getting my ass handed to me.
I know, and it's not like the funnest thing for me to admit. But the only reason I can do this is because I live with family. I mean, circumstances that brought me here with my health, but I can only afford to do this because I don't have a lot of overhead and I can do this. But my parents even appreciate it. I'm so thankful that my parents are awake and they're paying attention to the stuff that like is being talked about, that Sabrina's talking about. They love Sabrina. They love the work that's being done here and some of the stuff that's coming out. They went along the journey of coming to the realization a lot of these people were frauds and just running fake narratives this whole time to distract us and to grift our money, really. A lot of it's CIA operation, a lot of it's military operation to keep the sheeple docile, keep those
Yes.
goyim entertained, give them bread
Yes.
and
Yep.
circus, so that we can bring in the ultimate control grid that Rome could only have dreamed of. The Mongols that tried to take over the world, the Rome that was going to expand and have control of the entire planet, whatever it is. If it's flat, if it's round, I don't give a fuck. Either way, they're going to have a control grid in place now with this biodigital convergence that we're going to slowly but surely see the human race gone at some point. This will be post-humanism at this rate. Because what are you going to need all these people around for when you have AI and robotics running everything and doing everything efficiently? And then I don't know because I think there's arguments about who's really in control, and I don't know where you stand on this. I'd actually be curious. So, like like Sabrina talks about augmented humans at the top. Some of these bloodline families that have like already got some life extension that allows them to live for hundreds and hundreds of years, maybe even over 1,000. A lot of what the technology is that's coming in and the things they're doing with organ harvesting and the harvesting of our energy, the loosh, all that kind of stuff that they harvest, this is all life extension technology that they're trying to gain from us. It's like, is there always going to be a need for a certain amount of humans to pull this from? Or will
I
they,
believe so. I really do believe
yeah,
they'll still always need some humans.
you would think so. I mean, like, that's what I kind of think that they'll always need us. I mean, it's really tough to talk about some of these darker topics because I also, pay attention to the survivors that come from a lot of the human trafficking. They talk about the hunting parties, which is totally
Right.
fucking real. A lot of
Yes.
this stuff is coming out in the Epstein files right now about the jerky and like we've known about the pizza parties, the $63,000 hot dog party that Obama had, all this abomination that's been going on with children and all this kind of stuff. They talk about how like, and I love to talk about cloning because I think there really is a level of cloning going on, but they talk about how a naturally born, if there is such a thing anymore, as a more unsuspecting born human. So a person that isn't born like in captivity, a person that isn't born into like the deep underground military bases, a person that's born into a normal life that has no idea any of that exists. If they can capture that person, that child is much more fearful when presented with the torturous things that they do to them in order to gain the most energy harvesting. They love the power and control, and they love to torment.
Yes.
Evil loves to torment innocence. And that is the
Yes.
disgusting
Yes.
thing here. And that ties into the biodigital convergence. When you watch the Manchurian Candidate with Denzel Washington, and you see them in that room, and they have the electrodes in their heads, and they tell Denzel to shoot the guy, he's like, "Yep, yep." And he just gets up, boom, shoots the guy and kills him. Like it's no big thing because he's completely mind control. They're showing you in that the electrodes on the head.
Right.
Now the
When I
technology's
when
gotten to
I
the point
was
where they don't even need it.
right when I was in elementary school, I'm I'm one of those gate kids, and I got sent to San Diego State University for testing. You know, they tell my mom, oh, she's just so smart. We're going to take her for this special testing. They put the electrodes. It was just me and one other little boy. And we went in this like a lab room with a lady, and she just did the weird, like asked the weirdest questions. And we put the electrodes on our freaking head and chest, and we laid in chairs next to each other, like a dentist type chair, you know, laid back. And while they did all this weird, asked us all these weird, and they put us in almost like this hypnotic state, you know, while they're talking to us. And just that's why when finding Sabrina, I was like, holy shit, it's she's giving you all the answers for all the things you've questioned your whole life. Like, why does all this weird shit always happen to me? Why? Because they do,
Right.
these they know who certain people are, and they target them lifelong, and they do things to them. They do things to them. They can't let you ever be happy for long periods of time. If you're happy
Right.
for a week, oh, you next week, I swear to God, something shitty's gonna happen to you.
Everything is data collection. If you
Yes.
like, and a lot of like we were kind of hinting at earlier, a lot of people want to call us black pillars or doomers. Motherfucker, if the house is on fire, if the room next to this room that we're in right now is on fucking fire and it's coming this way, do you not want to know about it? It's like, oh, it's just getting hot in here. Just open the window. Like, should we just do that? Should we just play that game where we pretend like it's not a fucking military operation where they're data collecting on all of us? There's jobs. Sabrina's always talking about the jobs. I don't think people understand it. The CIA and all these jobs that we know of, there are levels that are above that no one knows about, no one talks about, because the people that do talk about it end up disappeared. So that's why I think Sabrina sticks to the documents that are open
Yes.
source so that people can like see that they're telling you without telling you. They're not
Right.
going to translate it the way that it should be translated. But I didn't know that you actually went through a program like that. I think it's more common than people realize, and a lot of you here that are in the
All right,
comments or they're gonna
If you're RH negative, anytime you
you're
have
on it.
anything with the in the medical, I swear to God, they do the most messed up stuff. Anytime you have to go deal with a doctor when you're RH negative, they're do some weird shit to you. Make you go take some weird tests, do anything. It's
Right.
it's mind blowing, and you can't figure. You think you're cursed. Like I spent my whole life thinking I'm freaking cursed, and I'm just God hates me, and you know I'm just so unlucky. And then you're like, holy shit, these bastards.
Right. Yeah, Patricia in the chat, you're saying we are the true truthers. I don't consider myself a truther, but I consider myself a truth seeker. And these people, like I said earlier, will all say that they'll follow the truth wherever it leads them. You guys here that are participating in this, or at least questioning it, or at least allowing yourself to listen to this, if you believe a lot of the Q stuff still, or if you believe in some of these other things that could be going on, because there's some crazy stuff going on. Don't get me wrong. I think they run psyops 24/7. I think they swap out politicians and celebrities all the time. You're talking about gate programs where they literally like. Has anybody here seen They Clone Tyrone?
I have not. I'll have to look that
You
up.
should watch it.
Okay.
It's uh, it's like a whole government operation where they basically have cloned all these people and they just run them through scenarios. So what you were saying earlier about like if you're having too good of a time for too long, they throw something in your way. Someone comes into your life, or something happens
Yes.
in your
Yes.
body. A health issue happens.
Mm-hmm.
Something happens where they want to find out now what happens. They
Yes.
are literally running a military operation at all times with these
Mm-hmm.
jobs that survey people. Some of them just have like they either just have no human emotion at this time, or they really don't know what they're doing completely. Maybe they're in the dark a little bit about it. You see some of those, like I studied psychology. I got a BS in psychology, not that it's a big deal coming from one of these indoctrination things, but I did some of these studies and also witnessed some of the studies that have been done in the past where they had, for instance, a study where there was a person in one room, and maybe on the other side of the wall or in a completely separate room was another person, and there was these buttons you'd push, and there was an intensity knob, and they would have people increase the intensity. They were being told by a scientist, increase this intensity, and you would hear screaming from the other room. Now, sometimes it was an actor in that other room, but the whole idea was to see how far people would go when told to do something, even in the face of maybe realizing that somebody was being harmed by what they did. And more often than not, people still fucking push those buttons. So it's not hard to fucking convince people to do horrible shit when they don't really think that they're doing anything wrong because they're being told by a supervisor or a scientist or a mentor. Even in psychology, it'll tell you that if you go into an elevator and everybody's facing one way. Now, I've always wondered. I would love for some of these things to be played on me to see how I would respond. But if you go into an elevator and everybody's facing, like, say, the back of the elevator, you'll see video camera where they run these psychological tests, and there'll be people that turn around and start facing the way that everybody else is facing. Human psychology is a very strange thing, and they've mastered the shit out of it because they tortured people, they put them to death. This stuff was being tested back in Egyptian times, where they were sticking freaking hooks up noses and giving lobotomies and grabbing parts of the brain and seeing what would happen. They were testing this stuff back in the day, and now they've got it fully mapped out. And they're just putting the system in place that, like I said, Rome could only dream about, and you will own nothing and be happy if we
Right.
don't. If I don't know, it's going to take an act of God along with a lot of people waking up to this and a lot of people breaking out of the hopium circles. And hopium is false hope. It's not hopium as in I don't believe in hope. I have hope in Christ. Even if they kill me, I'm good to go. That's how I feel, and I don't have fear of death. Now, I don't want to go through a lot of pain and be tortured.
Right.
So there's that. But if we don't do something and break out of these opium circles and start questioning these influencers and why the fucking snow is making everybody sick and why this shit is still happening, how did human trafficking, when Q started, Trump came into the picture, it was a $150 billion industry. Now, I did videos about a year and a half, 2 years ago with another woman that went to some of these classes that are being done by an ex-sheriff that quit what he was doing and left his pension because he was disgusted by what he saw in law enforcement because of the covering up of human trafficking. And so he now does small seminars where he exposes the truths about how bad it really is. At that point, he was saying it was a $230 billion industry. So it had only increased ever since Q and Trump came into the picture. While you have operatives like Liz Crokin and all these lying fools out
Oh,
there
Liz
that are
Crokin.
Laura Logan,
All these
Ray,
people.
Ivan Raiklin, they'll tell you that the human trafficking's been taken care of. At one point, Gene Decode said that they had pretty much taken down all the dumbs and all the human
Yeah.
trafficking to the point where these people were taking baby horses and torturing them to get adrenochrome. Lying
Every
fools.
time there's an earthquake, they're like, it's the dumbs. It's just they're blowing up the
Yes.
dumbs. That's all.
Yes, it's just an operation, bro. The white hats are saving the world, bro. And then get this. Oh, let's talk about this one, Dawn, because this is a fun one. And I heard it a lot when I was still like within the cult or still believed all this stuff. Ascension symptoms.
Oh.
Has anybody else been feeling those ascension
Oh,
symptoms?
my
Some of
God.
them are just overwhelming.
And selling potions to help with your ascension symptoms. Like these fucks really were like, oh man. Yes.
Yes, they call them ascension symptoms, and I'm betting a bunch of these people are still talking about ascension symptoms. No,
Oh yeah.
that's them
Oh, yeah.
tapping into your fucking biology.
Yes.
That's them tapping into your biofield and your body area networks. Your nodes are being tickled by their fucking technology. And
you ascended
these
right
assholes,
up to the cloud.
right? These assholes have an idea for you. It's called ascension symptoms. You're actually just going to 5D. It's
Yes.
fucking
Oh my God.
insanity going
I was
on.
such a moron. I was posting that about 5D. We're ascending up to 5D. Oh God, I'm so embarrassed.
What Gene Decode taught was that there was going to be a 3D Earth. I think there was like
Yes.
a median Earth, and then there was 5D Earth, and so they were going to separate. And he even had a photo of what he claimed was the 5D Earth. But those of us that would ascend would end up on 5D. Those on 3D would keep living kind of this kind of lifestyle to
Yes.
learn the lessons that they needed to learn. And then there
Yes.
was the median Earth where people weren't going to go through such horrors, but they were going to still finish what they needed to finish so they could go to 5D.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe this stuff. There was even somebody on YouTube that was doing videos, and he was walking around what seemed to be an abandoned city. And it's I wish I could find those videos because now I'm like, what the heck was that? Was it a complete psyop? But it looked like he was walking around cities and he was telling people that he was on 5D Earth. So 5D Earth was prepared for everybody, and he was getting an experience of going there and videotaping it. And he would leave keys, allegedly, in a place on 3D Earth and in 3D life, and he would do it on video. And then he would go to that place where it was completely abandoned, and those fucking keys would be there. They were transmuting or whatever you would say. And it was like, oh my gosh! So there are things that have been put out there that I think are complete psyops, like Hollywood level freaking psyops. But it's been crazy how they've been able to do this. Now you're seeing these videos where you don't know what's true and what's not, or you see like the real video, and then 5 seconds later, someone's already created an AI version where it's a little bit different and it adds something maybe humorous, or it adds something horrific, or it adds something where you're like, is this really true? I saw a video at one point a couple months ago when the DeSantis thing was going on, where it took me a couple minutes into the video where I finally realized that it was fake. But he was saying all this great stuff about Trump, and he was like, like kind of bashing himself and all this stuff. I was like, and then you find out it's AI. The AI videos, you can usually tell, but I
They're
don't know
getting
if some
good
of the
now.
stuff. So, yeah, so think about this. So the technology now is in the public sector where we can play with it, right? Or if you pay for it or whatever, you can play with it. But think about when we first came into the Truther movement, the Q movement. There's like even videos in black and white that's said to have been back in time when giants still walked amongst the humans. And there's a couple clips of what seems to be actual giants. Now, is that just all AI that like the CIA put out and made us think it was real? You have like the picture, I think it's of Eisenhower shaking the hand of a gray alien. You seen that one?
I didn't see that one.
So they have these pictures that I saw because I was in a very woo-woo section of the Truther movement that included the Gene Decodes, Carrie Cassidy's, and some of the like ones that all they talk about is the reptilians, Anunnaki, and the Greys and all that kind
That's
of stuff.
that's how I first started out too. I was watching Carrie Cassidy and the
Mm-hmm.
Amelia Happiness Guru girl. She did like a 180 or a flip because they went from being super spiritual to then they were like Christians now and wearing cross
Right?
necklaces and going to church every Sunday. They went
Because
from
that's the greatest grift.
she was collecting money first. She would take donations. She'd say, my spirit guides have asked for me to have a special crystal crown. And they're saying that I should ask for donations. And literally, like she would get like $500 worth of donations. And then next, she'd have her little fancy crystal crown on she'd be doing her lives on, and she's like, yes, my spirit guides wanted me to have this. And then next thing you know, it's like, oh, that's gone, that shit's over, we're Christian now.
Some of it I think it's an operation. So like there's been some people that have been caught where like their own people are giving large donations because what that does. So say like I have $500 and I put it over like into an account with somebody that actually is with me, but people wouldn't know that. And they donate $300 and then $200 with different accounts on your live stream. People that are in the chat see that and think, "Damn, I should give too." So there's operations
Really?
like that people need to be aware
Oh
of.
my gosh.
Yes. So these
See?
operatives or these psyoping assholes or these like CIA handled fools have all kinds of tricks. People been caught doing this where you have people that are giving donations regularly just to make the rest of the chat make themselves think like, damn, I should give something because everybody else is giving something. It's crazy the psyops that are being run nonstop. But what you're talking about there, where they all of a sudden are Christian and they come to they have their born again moment or whatever it is. Like I consider myself in a way Christian, but I hate the term. I don't want to be called Christian. I'm a sinner. I desperately need Jesus Christ. I'm a past addict. I have over 9 years of sobriety. That's where I came to. But I'm not here to preach. I'm also open about how I look at the world. But a lot of these people that are in faiths are used to tithing. They're used to giving. They want to give to a good cause. They want to believe in beautiful things. The prosperity gospel, which I think is a false gospel, one of many, gets people to want to give more. The more you give, the more you'll receive. They believe in that kind of stuff. So, anyways, like I said, the Trump combined with Christian patriotism was the greatest grift that'll ever be, I do believe. But it won't matter here pretty soon because the control system that's going to be in place. Now, that's what I saw. So you saw a lot of like new age people that came out and were more about like spirit guides and stuff like that. Have more like Lori Ladd right now currently is getting more into Jesus. Funny how that works all of a sudden. This is a Galactic Federation lady that was telling us that all was going to be taken
I
care
know.
of. Like,
I was into her
mm-hmm.
too, and but then that Phil Good guy that she was always teaming with, he came out one day and he was doing a live, and in the middle of the live, he says, "God sent this message to me, and I have to tell you this. The black people are the chosen ones, and God wanted me to tell you this." And instantly it was like, "Oh, you too? Here's another one. Here, okay, check off the list. Here's this. Come on." Like,
I don't even know who Feel Good is. Interesting. Feel Good.
yeah, like there was a whole group of them and they would all do, I mean, they were buddies and, all of them doing stuff. And then
Right.
they'd all come out and do a live and say something off the freaking wall like that and cause like a huge uproar. Cause then people are watching it and you see the comments going nuts and they're like, what?
I
And as
wonder if
I
they're made
started,
to do that kind of stuff for like to see how people react.
yes,
Most
that,
people will still shake it off and continue forward with the narratives.
that
Lori
isn't,
Ladd's in kind of like the Jason Shurka area of the truther
yes,
movement, which is a
yes.
different side of things, but
Ooh.
I tasted all of them. Like I said, Elena Denon, I got two of her books. She's a great artist. She talks about having, so her and Megan Rose, if you've never heard of them, they both had similar stories where they were saved by the Nordics. I think Valnek and Valthor or something like that were the names of their well, I don't know the specific race, but they're Nordic. But they claim that they have chips in their heads. That's how they communicate. Because you got a lot of channelers and people that just say that they like Lori Ladd that channels the Galactic
Yes.
Federation. Now these two are different in the sense that they have chips that were put in their heads when they were abducted when they were young, and then during those abductions they were both saved at different times. Well, they were working kind of together, and then they had this big old cat fight and broke up.
I
And
noticed that a
like
lot of them do have the fights and then break up and
it's like, damn it, bitch, this is my grift. Like, I want this section of the grift. Get the fuck out of my area. And so, like, they break up and go separate ways. And so, have you ever heard of Michael Sala? Dr. Michael Sala, as he goes by?
yes,
So he
yes.
works with Elena Denon. And now they're bringing in this like Mexican dude that goes by JP. He was wearing a pilot helmet, but I think it gets too hot and sweaty, so like he has been coming out in some kind of a mask now, and he is horrible. His acting is horrible. That he sucks at his lines because I look at it now differently. And so, anyways, Dr. Sala is like all about like this galactic shit and stuff like that too. But it's like Elena Denon and Megan Rose claim that the commanders of separate ships in the same fleet are at war or broke up, but these guys work together. I mean, how stupid is this? Like all these narratives getting, but people just a Megan Rose is an attractive girl. Elena Denon kind of looks like a witch, but people fucking love her. It's like I don't know what it is, man. It's like the crazy, like I said, mental illness, and the crazier you are, the more popular you are online. I think the algorithms fucking love them. Nino comes out, talks about how all the pedal rings are going down, and here we are all these years later. Then Derek Johnson in 2022 comes out and starts screaming and going off on a Facebook Live that had 9 people on it. And then it suddenly goes viral afterwards. And next thing you know, it's continuity of government and devolution and Derek Johnson's blueprint, saving the world. Where have you been, Derek? Trump came in 2016 and you didn't pop on the scene until 2022 when your country music career was falling apart. Weird, but everybody fucking loves Derek. I've been attacked more for exposing Derek Johnson than anybody else. The Probably Julie Green, because I got into the fake prophets too. Amanda Grace, Julie Green, fake false prophets, and they probably are some of the most evil and the worst. His Glory, Dave Scarlett, liar. His wife had sex with a 17-year-old, or I think he was 17 at the time, and had a child with him. Did a little time in prison, but really got a light sentence. She had sex when she was a teacher and responsible for this child, this young man, had sex with him and had his baby. And they're like premier in the Save the Children movement.
Wow.
What is going
Wow.
on, man? And then you know about Phil Godlewski, right? Phil Godlewski. Some people call him Phildo because he's a dumbass. He pretends like he's Q. He'll pretend that he's in charge of Cash Patel and guys in the Q movement. He'll act like he started Q. He pretends that he is working with the White Hats. He he did this video where it's like him on his computer and he's like Alpha 59, Roger Roger, blah 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 blah. Uploads it to his Telegram and then later says that he never meant to upload that. Like like not only did you like allegedly not mean to record yourself and then take that and upload it, which is a process, and people believed it. People believed that accidentally they got to see him running an actual military operation as if he was the commander on his fucking laptop, telling people to go in there and get him, save him. Yes, job well done. And people believe this guy, and this guy has made, he claims, and then you can't believe a damn word out of his mouth, that he's made $75 to $100 million. This is a guy that had sex with a 15-year-old when he was 25. They are in court right now because what happened was he got too big for his britches and got so cocky, Phil Godlewski did, in the truther movement. And none of the truthers come out against him. No one wants to talk about it, but he's a pedophile in the Save the Children movement. He sued Scranton Times for writing an article. He's in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Scranton being the place where the office is alleged, is where the setting is of the office. If you know the show The Office. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Phil Godlewski sues Scranton Times for the piece they wrote and screwed himself over because the Scranton Times won because it's true that he slept with an underage girl and got charged with relations with some kind of sexual. I can't remember. I don't want to quote it because that fool does like to sue people. But it was proven that he did have sexual interactions with a 15-year-old. And if it would have been a little bit later in time, it would have been a felony. He got it with a misdemeanor. So, anyways, he screwed himself because he thought he was going to, with all this money and now all this new clout and ego, that he was going to win this lawsuit. And because he sued Scranton Times, now everybody knows the truth of it all through discovery that he really did have sex with this girl. And this was after her boyfriend committed suicide.
Oh my gosh.
So think about what kind of a sick son of a bitch you have to be at the age of 25 to take advantage of a 15-year-old girl when he was working as a baseball instructor at the high school or at the school. But he took advantage of a girl who just lost her boyfriend to suicide.
Wow.
And then they have like texts of him having sex with her all over the place. And then he tries to act like he never committed the act and that what isn't true, and he keeps losing lawsuits. It is crazy because this is the kind of garbage filth that are in the truther movement. A lot of these people are convicts. A lot of these people have records where they can't make a good wage because they have felonies and stuff. So why not become a con artist and go online and lie about having a guide in the Galactic Federation? Why
Right.
not go online and pretend to have military inside intel when none of it comes true, but so many people want to believe it so much that they easily forget a prediction that was wrong because they still want to believe. They still want to believe the White Hats are going to win. Trust the plan. All these things are MK Ultra phrases. Nothing can stop what's coming.
Yes. God.
All of these phrases that get put into the psyche, they are mantras that people will continue to replay in their minds so that they can believe that these things are happening. And it's nice to think about like beautiful things like that. We've been brainwashed by Hollywood to believe that the good guy wins. while the bad guy is taking over the world. The bad guys are enslaving the world to a level that has never been done before that we
Right.
know about. Now, then there's the argument, I guess, you could make that there's resets in civilization and that they continuously reset us and then restart in whatever fashion they want. Some will even claim that a lot of the scriptures and holy books were written by AI, that AI is actually ancient. Um, there's some arguments you'll see on guys like My Lunch Break and Archaics that talk about like the ancient AI. They talk about some of the resets. They talk about how some of these buildings that are claimed to have gone up in such quick fashion couldn't have been done that fast because it was a time where it was horse and buggy. So you needed a certain amount of food and water for the horses. You need to move the materials from one location to the other. And then these buildings tend to last longer than the structures we build today. What is going on?
Right.
So, I mean, I love talking about all this, but the horrific nature and truth about it all is that we're being lied to once again. The people that came in and told you that everything you've ever learned is a lie, then repackaged and sold you the next level and layer of lies.
Right. And now everybody is so confused. It's
Yeah,
like
and that's the
they
point.
just so confused. And then we're still fighting each other. And
That's what they want. And this is where also AI is going to play a role in it because you don't know what's real anymore because you can make up
right.
pictures. You can use. I mean, you've been able for a long time to use Photoshop to like skew things or whatnot. But this is exactly where they want us. They want us divided in little echo chambers that aren't big echo chambers so that we never can rebel and give us whatever it is that our flavor of truth is. Whatever you want to believe is the truth.
Right.
And that's just going to lead to total enslavement to some degree.
And stalling, I mean, they've been stalling it for what, 5 years, getting this information out there with all of this stuff. 5 years ago, if we had been able to talk about this and get this out there, think of, we could have maybe really done some change, but now it's 5 years in.
Right?
It was
It's
it
it's
was
it,
genius. It was genius how they sent all these different people out there to keep
yes.
everybody confused. And
Yes, and so anybody that still believes in Trump, I can sympathize with you, and some things are more complicated than just black and white. I'll give you that. But he was the perfect person to come in after we had to deal with the 9/11, Bush Jr., Clinton, Obama.
right,
You had a lot of
he was gonna lock them up, and that's what we wanted. He
right,
was gonna
and he
lock them
said,
up.
"Yep, he's going to drain the swamp." And he did a lot of things that they allowed to make look good. He improved the stock market, which a lot of people don't care about, and a lot of people aren't in. The 401ks, people of the middle class, they benefited from these things, corporate jobs and all that kind of stuff. He brought back jobs to America. He started, we became exporters of oil and all this kind of stuff. But and they made some things look more like than they were. Like when you actually look at what he did to human trafficking, which Liz Crokin will say he's done more than any administration and all this stuff, not necessarily true and very dismal compared to what could be done. I'm telling you, it is so bad because of the internet, especially because grown ass men can pretend to be 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds in chats with small children and lure them in. It is disgusting what could be done. We could run stings in every section of like America just as an example. And I think that you could arrest people nonstop almost 24/7. You could lure in predators. The predatory mindset that exists now because of the debauchery that is on the internet that is now
Yes.
flooding into our children's minds. When I was a
Mm-hmm.
kid, we didn't have internet.
No.
I got to
No.
experience the time when we didn't have the fucking internet. And so like when I was like a young man, we found like some really old like Playboys and it was like,
Right.
oh my gosh.
Right. But we weren't
Okay, so
watching
like
porn
right.
24/7. You couldn't click and just watch porn.
Right. And then there was like VHSs and like, cassette tapes and all this stuff. Now kids have access to the most disgusting, depraved bestiality and everything. And the this is what they want. It's the demoralization.
Yes.
It's
And
it's gonna just
desensitizing of all of
it's
it.
the desensitizing,
Even the
exactly.
gym, like I used to be really big into going to the gym. Well, I have all my gym stuff at home, so I just work out at home. But I go and look on the explore page on Instagram with the gym girls now. They're like wearing basically bras and like lingerie to the gym, and
Yep.
I'm floored. We've become, I don't know, we've really strayed far from trying to have any sort of decency and morality. It's anything goes now.
Right. And they've been doing some stuff behind the scenes. I understand that for a while there, when it was like, the good old days where it was like the American dream was alive and well, and they sold that to you on the TV, but they were like, still selling this beautiful white picket fence kind of a lifestyle while cheating was going on and all the debauchery was still happening. However, it was still we didn't have access to those kinds of things. It didn't, like now it's draining dopamine. It's like you said, desensitizing them. You got high end influencers, and I don't like this guy. I never really even watch him. I just know about him because he's been popping up lately in some of the exposures and whatnot. But Nick Fuentes is telling people on his podcast that reaches millions of people that people need to get over it. That down to 14-year-olds isn't pedophilia. These
Everything is
people
so
are
everything
it's
is
and
so
he's able to
skewed.
say that. It's crazy he's able to say that. We have laws, especially here in this country. I know they're different in different areas, and I know that there's certain cultures and there's certain religions where they allow you to like marry like young girls, and it's as soon as they can bleed, they like marry them off and stuff. And some of that's in the past of human history, but we've learned through at least some of the science that we've been allowed to learn the development of a child and the way that society is set up. They're not ready to have these kinds of relationships, especially not with grown ass people that are predators that are going to take advantage of them because they know all the tricks to manipulate a child's mind. But you have a high great. I mean, he's on the level of like a Candace Owens kind of a thing, Russell Brand, these kinds of levels of people, and he's telling people they need to get over it. As the Epstein files come out, it is not pedophilia to sleep with children down to the age of like 14 and stuff. It's normal in some cultures.
That's
It's
so
like these
gross.
kinds of people are now putting that out there, and this is like on this very platform, not that long ago, but some years ago, they put out a questionnaire as to whether or not people thought pedophilia was wrong. Why are you even asking that?
They're just minor
Yes,
attracted people. Come on.
it's minor attracted people. Like they are slowly but surely taking us to that level. And with the amount of
Mm-hmm.
porn and the amount of like I said, the way that they're grooming these us, I mean, who knows what they're doing with the biodigital convergence too. I mean, we've seen with various things that they put in the food that young women are growing breasts faster, they're developing sexually quicker, the various
Yes.
whatever it is, hormones and stuff that are being given. It could be stuff that are in the
Getting their
jabs,
periods at like 10 years
getting their
old.
periods. Yep. Things are happening a lot quicker. And then you have the biodigital convergence that could be stimulating a sexual part of their brain more when they're not even developed yet. And so it's just, there's all these manipulations of humanity. And I think it's all data collection. And it's all leading to what Sabrina Wallace calls the Blade Runner future. And if you watch that movie, the whole thing is controlled. You all right?
I have so much, like I said, my chest is still so congested for 2 weeks now.
Yeah. I've been feeling it like I can feel it kind of like behind my ears and in my neck going into my chest. I haven't developed a full-on cough, but every once in a while I have a cough fit. I'm telling you, it's what was ever in the snow, or it's just because they sprayed so much that the snow brought it down to the ground in a lot of areas. So it's still coming down in rain and it's still coming into the skies, but they are at another level of something. Whether it's making sure everybody is completely fully loaded with nano and
Right.
all the things that they need in order to move to the next level of this. Sabrina says they already have everything in place for 2030 and they could do it at any moment. Now we have the redundancy operations going on, meaning the more the goyim and the sheep will continue to be divided and think that nothing really bad's really ever going to happen, and that this is all conspiracy talk, and this is black pilling, and this is doomer talk. While that continues to happen, they're putting everything else in place, and they're testing things. They put military on the ground in certain areas. They put National Guard on the ground in certain areas. They're making it more common for people to be. I don't know. That it'll be a desensitization. I think eventually, as Palantir rolls in more, and some of these other companies with these Ring doorbells, and they are allowed access to various things. I think it's going to become more obvious, but I think that it'll happen so fast that most people will remain unaware until it's too late. If we can't wake up, and
Yes. That's why my
we've
husband's like, why do you want to do this? Like, why do you want to go out there? They're always attacking you. And I'm like, because I already started sharing it and now I'm I'm already a face of it and I've got kids.
Yep.
Why would I not want to say something? There's not
Right.
many of us who understand it. And, I've been following Sabrina for 3 years now and studying at the School of Wallace, and there's not many of us that do that. So
Right.
it's our job. It's our job to stand up.
If it got to the point where we were enslaved, like what seems to be headed this way, and I did nothing, then I will. I mean, I
When
wouldn't
I'd
be able
hate
to live with
myself.
myself. Yep, I wouldn't be able
They,
to
they're,
live with
they're like, why
myself.
say anything? You can't change it. If you can't change it, why even say anything? Why should I even watch this? Well, that's why nothing changes because nobody says anything. Nobody wants to do shit, and they just do that. Well, if I can't do anything about it, why would I even watch that video?
You can, and people can do something about it. Just changing your consciousness and your thinking does something about it. Getting involved with communities that are actually talking about this stuff. I tried sharing Sabrina Wallace's stuff twice on TikTok, and I was a small account, and some of her videos were blowing up to 20 some thousand views in no time. And I
Mm-hmm.
did, and it's supposed to be a three strike rule. Now they say they can kick you off at any time, of course, but these are videos that I didn't even get told why, but I can only imagine why. It's because they're very effective at getting people's attention and getting them to understand that what's really going on. You're going to be hearing about digital twins here pretty soon with healthcare. They're going to be frequency medicine. So they're going to like knowingly be talking about it in the public that, oh, yeah, I zoomed with my doctor today and I got a shot for blah, 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 blah. But it wasn't like a physical thing. It was literally a frequency thing where they tap into your freaking body area network and they
Right.
give it to you, and your body changes because this is where we're at. Everything is energy. And they have this shit ready to roll out on a level where, because we're being docile, we're not paying attention to the verbiage, we're not paying attention to the white
Yes.
papers, we're not paying attention to like, let's talk about something
Hey,
more like even
can
extreme.
you keep talking for 1 second? I gotta go get my phone charger. My battery's drained. Okay, you keep
All right,
talking. Thanks.
go for it. I'll hold the floor. Don't you guys worry. I got plenty to talk about. Yes, Zeolite is loaded with a bunch of nano. Fuck all Zeolite products. That's my opinion. And I did work with a guy named Zach. He goes by Power of the Pulse. If you haven't seen those videos, they're on the YouTube and the Rumble. But it's very alarming. And if you didn't know aluminum was part of Zeolite, well, there's your first red flag. I didn't know any of that till I finally looked into it. But when a guy like Ted Cruz, here, puppy, puppy. When a guy like Ted Cruz is in Congress and he says we should stop going after all the, why are we going after and attacking all these pedophiles? Come on. And then when you
I'm
see in
back.
the Epstein files, welcome back.
To take
That
my.
wasn't too long.
Okay. Can you hear me
I was
still?
just, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. What I was also going to get into, because I just got into how Ted Cruz was saying we need to stop attacking all the pedophiles. He said this in Congress. It's like that kind of stuff should really make you like raise your eyebrow. There's some red flags there. You talk about Pam Bondi going before Congress and saying that she can arrest all the people that are connected to the Epstein files because then all the governments in the world would collapse. Are people
Right.
paying attention?
Right.
So you can listen to Sabrina Wallace and learn all that stuff. Great, that's what you should do. But if you're telling me there's no reason to, then answer how Ted Cruz is saying that no one's in an uproar. Tell me why Pam Bondi isn't arresting anyone. Tell me why in the Epstein files they're releasing information that includes conversations about the fucking biofield.
Right.
They've known how to manipulate the biofield in the human body for a long time. I just found out about it not that long ago, a little over a year ago, maybe with Sabrina, or maybe a year and a half. I don't know. Time flies, but they're talking about it in the Epstein files. They know how to manipulate the human body on levels that people are not aware of. And if you don't know that by now, we're having that conversation. And if more of us have that conversation and learn how to speak to it, then maybe we have a fucking chance of
Right.
saying no to
Right.
what needs to be said no to
Like
stopping some of this
these
shit from rolling
people,
out.
they don't, do they not think that like they couldn't log in and make somebody just go shoot up a school? They,
Yes.
when you try and explain this to people, they're like, you're a
Thanks,
freaking
Robin.
idiot.
Yeah, well, some of it is higher end information, and so, but the basics of it are biology to digital, bio digital. They want to merge like a cyborg, like you've seen in the movies, your biology with technology. They've already done that. And they're putting things on you called Fitbits and Apple Watches and all these wearables. Now, they don't even need those, but they're going to groom you just like a predator does to in a sexual situation with human trafficking and child rape and all that kind of stuff that they do. They're grooming humanity to accept these things, become aware of the verbiage they want them to use, so that when they bring this in, people are it's almost like they just putting the lube on. They're putting the lube in and they're getting ready to just
Yes. My
do the
husband
thing.
used to my husband used to work for Bosch, and that was like right during COVID. And he was for the first time ever, he was
Yes.
working from home. And so I was looking on his laptop, seeing the stuff, and they were doing it like they were talking about all of the stuff because they were Bosch was making all of like different health sensors and stuff. And they were saying that now that COVID happened, the health industry has completely changed. And we were going a new, digital way. And then they were saying in the future, you're not going to work like you do in person. You're going to be working from the metaverse. And I'm like, what the hell is all this? And my husband, he was making brakes for Bosch, and he had to take a cybersecurity class. He texts me, he's like, Dawn, you're not gonna believe this shit. I'm taking a class with this dude's his digital twin is teaching the class right now.
Oh
So they
my
were already
gosh.
doing it back then. So, and Sabrina's talking about it, and I'm like, holy shit, this is real. I'm seeing it at his work. So I'm trying to tell people, I'm like, no, this is real. And they're still arguing with me and saying, no, 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 we're ascending to 5D. And I'm like, no, no, no. My husband has a job, and they're telling them. And they would at Bosch, they would like talk about this stuff and then put it on the employee website thing and kind of get a feel for what people would think about it. And half the people would be going, oh, that sounds really cool. And the other half, like, that sounds fucked up, man. I don't want to be part of this. I don't know what. No, I'm not okay with any of that. And so they go and delete all those comments and stuff. But they were testing it out on the employees, getting a feel. What are the people going to think? And then slowly getting the employees to, you keep saying it over and over and over, and they're not studying it like with Sabrina. So you get a whole view. They just have little piece of it at their job, so they don't understand that holy shit,
Right.
we're all being digitally enslaved.
Yeah. They're getting tastes of it. Every once in a while, someone might have these thoughts like, what the fuck is this? And then they just go about their business. The
Yes.
job that I had a job when COVID like first hit, and I was working in addiction recovery. And this, when the George Floyd thing happened, this is how everything is orchestrated and everything is so programmed and how crazy it is. The George Floyd thing happened, and while I was working at that corporate business, the next day they already had a video about uh, equality in the workplace, basically how white people are racist. I watch this thing and I'm like, oh my gosh. But anyways, it's the same kind of thing. It's like something now is being brought in. I can't remember the name of it, and some of you in the chat might know. But for a while there, Elon had his voice in AI format, and there was a name for it, and it was going into X spaces, and they were conversing with this. It was Elon's AI, whatever the name of it was. I thought it started with an A. Someone might remember it. But this is how much it's happening. So like this voice that was Elon's voice is in X, and it's having an actual conversation with people throughout this X space for long periods of time, and it was creepy listening to it. So you have that, you have things in the workplace, certain people's jobs where they're being taught by probably for all we know, I've seen a lot of commercials that are AI, but they don't. From all I can tell, it doesn't say AI unless there's a really fine print somewhere. But people are being introduced to it, just kind of like they were, like how we have been. And this is a little bit conspiracy stuff, but I definitely believe there's a lot of celebrities that are the opposite gender of what they were born as. So they introduced characters to us that were the opposite sex but groomed up as transgenders so that we would slowly but surely start to be attracted to the same sex kind of structures, the same facial structures as a male, but it was in the form of a what appeared to be a beautiful woman kind of a thing. With this digital twin thing as it comes in, you're just getting little glimpses of it, and they're just fishing it out there to see if people are ready for it. They do these little games where they'll release something and then they pull it back if there's too much
Yes.
reaction. It's
If people get a
crazy.
little upset about it, pull it back. But if they can release it and the people are okay with it, oh, okay.
Yep. If people allow it, then it comes out faster, and that's why if people become aware of it, that's why we need to have these conversations. So if someone brings that to you, you be like, yeah, this is called the biodigital convergence. They are going to try to merge us, and they're going to try to enslave us. I mean, they already in a lot of ways have. We just don't know it yet because it's
Right.
not a visible thing unless you're if unless you're and I try to do the biofield practice in my own way. I can't really do the pyelo erection thing like on command like Sabrina can and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not in touch enough with my biofield, and I really want to be, and I need to start practicing a lot more because I think you'll start realizing what's happening around you. Someone earlier said, why did they separate us 6 feet during COVID? That's a lot of part of it too, so that there wasn't so much biofield
Mm-hmm.
concurrence. So when we're like, I worked in massage therapy for 5 years. Body work, energy work, even being in someone's presence. There's times when you're in the office or you're at your job, whatever it is, and someone will walk in the room and you're like, oh, fuck, not them again. They will just suck the energy right out just with their presence. Or someone
Yep.
comes in and you're like so excited to see them and you go up and give them a hug, and your whole fucking day is so much better just because of this presence of this person that you know means well and that you like them and they have a bubbly or whatever you want to call it
Yes.
personality. It's something that we've always been kind of aware of. I heard Chris of the 6-7 podcast, which is an awesome dude, and I've loved doing the shows with him and Sabrina. Hoping to get some more work with him. He's a busy guy, but he talked about like when you're afraid, your hair will stand up on the back of your neck, or you'll get like that paranormal, like that sense, like something's
Right.
like watching you, where you can feel it. And he explained it in a way, like he explains a lot of things that help also expand on what I don't know if they expand, but in a different perspective, what Sabrina is already teaching us, tell us about it. But he was talking about when you're in a fear state, your biofield is reaching out farther than it even normally does to assess the environment around you so that you can try to figure out what's going on. And I'm like, oh, damn, that's crazy to think about. That makes so much sense. If we get in tune with your bio, if you got in tune with your biofield. So Sabrina's about ready to do some actual classes like in person in certain locations. She's also
Yes.
going to be doing classes on her fourth wall. Solana already does the free one, so if you can't afford to do the fourth wall or whatever, and I wasn't asked to talk about this, but I just know it's coming, so I'm telling everybody because if people want to get into this, I'm thinking
Yes.
I'm gonna get into this.
Everybody who watches my Facebook page wants to know about that biofield and those classes.
Right. So I've done 3 or 4, I think, of Solana's. Like I said, all you have to do it like, and I think someone's already been sharing it. So if you're interested in it, just get a glimpse of it for free. She's doing it every Wednesday and Sunday. Like she's doing a service to humanity, and she's freaking always stoked about it. She talks about how she's in a constant pilo. I just did a second interview with her not too long ago, and it was great. She was talking about how everything's the tech, the tech, the tech. We don't know how much it's affecting us. Once you can learn how to pilo and you learn how to feel your biofield, you'll understand how much they are fucking with us nonstop. But
Nonstop.
also in that, you'll be able to shield. You'll be able to put up your blockers. You'll be able to say no to that. When you start feeling those like things coming in on you, that uneasy feeling or the ways the frequencies are attacking you.
They just got
It's
me. They just got me. My whole body
right.
went completely hot. It starts from here and it goes all the way down, and I just break out in sweat. And then
Right.
after like 2 minutes, it just goes away.
Right.
And it's
And I
always
think
when I'm on my damn phone or I have my phone charging, and I have my phone on the
yep,
charger right now.
right. Which increases the amplitude. I totally know what you're talking about. The more I work like and do these, like I never expected myself to do like 3 hour podcasts, which is normally like how long for some reason they go, but it usually takes that long to really just have a good conversation and whatnot and get things out. I don't know how
Yes.
long you plan on wanting to do this, but it is what it is. But the more you do this, like that's when I start having my body things and I start feeling like something's affecting me. And so someone earlier in the beginning of the broadcast when we were talking about the kitties, they wanted more updates, but it's like, man, when I'm not doing this, I don't want to be like on my stuff. I want to be away from it because I feel
Yes.
the effects. I feel like that this really is affecting our bodies. They've talked about for a while now, whether it's like testicular cancer with men carrying their phones in their pockets and stuff like that. Yes, there is radiation coming off of this shit, but it's not just that. It's like what this stuff is really doing. Like this thing has a camera on it, like my laptop. I'm using my phone, my iPhone for the video camera for this. There, it's watching everything that we do, what we look at, how long we glance at something, what that something is, our likes, our dislikes, our behaviorisms, our mannerisms, our twitches, our tweaks, like all the things that we are. It is forming that digital twin, and it
Listen,
will.
I
It
can look at if I'm looking at a meme, yesterday I'm sitting next to my husband. I look at a meme on my phone. I start laughing. He looks and he sees what I'm laughing at, holds up his phone, and he's on a different social media. He was on Gab. He's on Gab. I was on Facebook. His Gab showed the same exact meme that I saw on my Facebook at the same time. I'm like, come on, they're like,
It's nonstop telling you. It's nonstop telling you. And for years now, people have been talking about how, like, even if they have their devices off, start talking about it. I think this couple did this study where, like, they had their like phones, but they were just like off and not being texted on or used or watched or anything like that. And they started talking about kitty litter just randomly, like in their conversation. Yeah, we really need to go to the store and get some of that kitty litter. Like it's really important. We keep forgetting to get that kitty litter. And the next thing you know, they got nonstop ads popping up about different
yes.
brands of kitty litter. That was years ago. Now you're talking about like instant real time. It's coming up with things. Here's another freaky thing. My dad watches this younger guy that is he goes by Ryan Hall, y'all. He does like weather forecasting like on YouTube. They have an AI version of him that is so realistic people are not able to tell the difference. And it freaks
Wow.
him out so much. And I need to go find like the videos and compare. But he says that the only way that he can think of that well, there's ways that he can do it. But what he's doing now when he does his broadcast is that he's like, you'll know it's the real me because in all my broadcasts, I'm going to be eating fruit. So in all of his broadcasts, the real him's going to be eating fruit. Now, obviously, he has a large
Wow.
channel, and the other one doesn't necessarily, but they think it's a mirror, or they're not paying attention to the numbers, and they're watching. So you and I are right now, unfortunately, giving them the data that they need to create a podcast in the not too distant future where they don't need us, and
Right.
maybe they don't like what we're talking about, and they will have
Right.
us. They will have us out there talking, but we'll be talking about White Hat saving the world. We'll be out there talking about trust the plan. I know the military's right outside, and they shooting my neighbors, but trust the plan. I know they're bringing in the guillotines and they're killing everybody, but it's all a movie. It's not real. I know it's not real. No freaking way it's real, right? White Hat's in control, baby.
The Fall of the
Oh,
Cabal movie, remember that?
whole series. Yep. Then
I mean,
season
they
two.
hook, line, and sinker. I was like, look at that. Trump went and saved the world.
Yep. And there is a lot of truths in it. That's how a lot of these people operate, and that's what people need to realize is like if you
Yeah,
don't
there
know.
it was a lot of truth in it, but
Yep, there'll be a lot of historical truths or truths about it. So you got these guys like the Gene Decodes, like even the Scott McKays and the Jacos and all this stuff. They will tell you a lot of the truths about the horrors of human trafficking, the hunting parties. Um, a lot of people probably heard the name Kathy O'Brien. I think a lot of that stuff really did happen to her, but unfortunately, I think that she's back under mind control if she ever wasn't. And it's sad to hear about the things that have been done to them and the ways that they've been used. These people, like if the other one that I covered was somebody that went by the pen name Bryce Taylor, and it was called Thanks for the Memories, and that included Bob Hope and Henry Kissinger being her main primary handlers. But they used some of these people, like you saw in the Manchurian Candidate movie with Denzel Washington. They have different purposes for different mind control programs. Now, what they haven't told us is the biodigital convergence components to this. They've told us, though, the horrors of how they manipulate these things, satanic ritual abuse. If you get a child before the age of 5 and this is very dark stuff, I'm sorry to say it, but if you anally rape them before the age of 5, they have what's called the serpent up the spine Kundalini experience, and it shatters the brain. This is where you get people talking about altars. Now, you can do this at different ages and stuff like that too, but they primarily say that before the age of 5, you pretty much have a mind control slave. So unfortunately, and if you have empathy and you are sympathetic to some of these people, and it's hard to be towards like for me, like from my standing, I can't stand the Hillary Clintons, the Obamas, and these kinds of people. I really can't stand Trump now. But for instance, I think that a lot of these people were tortured and gone through a lot of the same programs that a lot of these kids that go through the trafficking rings have gone through. Most of them don't live. Most of them don't survive. Most of them aren't allowed to live, tell the tale, or some of them don't get their memories back, intended to never get them back, and then they start getting them back, and they remember what happened to them, and then you'll hear some of the similar stories about how they did hunting parties, about how they mind controlled them, about how they abused them, about how they basically created what some people call alters. There's all kinds of things, but they'll break the mind because it's a survival mechanism so that they can handle the torture, so they can survive, and then they place other thems in it. But they can program some of these people to such levels that they can handle extreme pain. They can do superhuman things. So when you hear about like Stranger Things and like the idea of having supernatural abilities, what humans should be able to do, but we've been hindered and stuff like that, those are the things that are interesting, but not in the form of being tortured to unlock those abilities. If
Right.
we could have more control of our biofield, more control and understanding of what we are and what we're capable of, the God given gifts that we've been given, then we would have even a better chance of fighting back against these technologies and these systems,
Right.
but they suppress it. They don't tell us that stuff. And Sabrina gets so mad about the MK Ultra stuff and these various things because it's terminology that only tells you like a small portion of it. It's old tech. It's like the voice to skull is old technology. They now have abilities that are far beyond that, and that these influencers and these supposed truthers are out there exposing, but they're not giving you all of the information, and that's to keep you
Right.
dumb to the reality of what is actually taking place. And so I've gotten to the point now where it's like I question like how do we know that we're not doing this because we're being neurally nudged to do it? It freaks you out. Like how capable are
It
they?
really does.
How capable are they? Like what do you think, Dawn? Like cuz some days like I wonder like cuz I can't believe I'm even doing this. I can't believe I'm doing podcasting. I have an anxiety issue that I've had since I was a kid.
So
Since
do
I was a
I.
yes, I have
I
panic
I
attacks. Like I
don't this earlier I was chatting with you telling you, oh my God, I'm having a full blown attack thinking about going live later. Like people are always like,
yes.
oh, you're so brave, you're so brave. Well,
Yes, the way that I think about it, and I think that this is true, I'm not saying it's not true. The way I think about it, the way that I believe it, because this is not what I would normally do. I didn't even like being in small groups and being the center of attention. Now, if I'm goofing around and it's not like a situation where all eyes are on me or like I'm being told to like do this joke or like do this dance or whatever, and I just do it organically and people are laughing, not a problem. But when I'm put on the spot, my face will turn red. I could have a panic attack and it would just happen like that. So why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I hear about the horrors of things that are going on in the world, and I can't help but not say something. I can't help but not be another voice out there that's trying to like feel like we can go with God against this and stop some of this or stop it completely. I don't know if that's ever it's even possible. I don't know. I am willing to hope
But we
that
have to
God would
try.
grant us that. What? Yeah, exactly.
We
Like
have to try.
what's the point of not believing that there is a hope for combating this and that we with God, however you believe in source, creator, the goodness, the love, the grace, all that compassion, the things that are good about this world or this existence that we can know, that loving, that nurturing of a family member, of a mother, of a father, those kinds of things. Even if you didn't get to experience those exact things, you can experience it through other people's experiences or have your own experiences with acquaintances, with just connecting with people like in this conversation. Some people are like, I'm finally hearing people talk about things that need to be talked about. Not that we're anything special. We're just out here doing this because we feel like we have to. Even though everything in us, like our physiology, is telling us, our psychology is telling us, fuck, why am I doing this? I couldn't do this if I was in a room in a like an auditorium and there were like 100 people even in that fucking auditorium. I'd be like, get me the fuck out of here. And that's what I'm doing now in a way. I guess I can compartmentalize it a little bit because we don't have to deal with that reality because we can be like, all right, guys, see you later, end
Yeah.
stream.
Click.
And I can go to my bathroom and do my thing and then go and do whatever. I don't have to walk out of the auditorium. I don't have to get in the car. I don't have to leave. And I don't have to see all the faces afterwards and have all the conversations after a speech. However, everything in me tells me this is not comfortable for me and I don't want to do this. And same thing with you, Dawn. And here we are. And I hope this encourages other people. I do these things called Booma Streamas. They're mostly a community chat. I might even change the name because I don't want it to sound like narcissistic or anything like that. But it's kind of fun. The Booma chat, the Booma Streama, where anybody can come on and we can talk about whatever anybody wants. There's no agenda. Sometimes I'll have a special guest that has an idea. Like I've had Sabrina Wallace as a special guest. I've had a gentleman that goes by RG that's in a wheelchair. He's a quadriplegic. He has a little bit of function of his body, and he has some really great ideas. And it was a beautiful Booma streama. So we have people coming on of all different faiths, all different perspectives, and you're welcome. And I just don't, I can't do the minor attracted person, pedophile, satanic thing, just so everybody knows. I'm not welcoming to those people. If they come on, they're going to get it. But we want to have these conversations, and I want people to find that courage to be able to speak. Not that you have to come out and like put your life on the line or your family's life on the line or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, to become involved in this conversation and speak to it with people that understand you. Because many of us, and this is the other thing that a lot of these truthers and stuff did, they separated us from our social circles. So when I sent out all those texts to people saying it's going down, have extra food and water, military is the only way, they're going to come in
They
and
don't
save the
trust
day.
you anymore.
Biden's never going to take power and Trump's going to save the world, blah 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 blah. Now they just think I'm a fucking lunatic. And no matter what I do now to try to like, make up for the things that I participated in that were complete psyops now, in my opinion and perspective now, these people will think that they always kind of did. I've always been kind of like wild and crazy. I like to party and all that kind of stuff. But I like to have deep conversations too. I was the guy at the party that's hanging out and like, I like talking about ladies and cool things and fucking sports and all that kind of stuff. But I like to talk about like real shit. Like, why do we have like, why can't we work a job and like make ends meet? Why is the world set up the way it is? Why do some people make so much money and they really do fucking nothing? Like,
Yes. And when we have to sit here and watch the freaking Kardashians be thrown in our face and they can buy, six $300,000 cars, and then they have a $10 million house, and then, oh, for their daughter's birthday party they spent $100,000 on this party, and it's like, dude, we have to just watch that be paraded in front of us all the time. And people eat it up on social. I mean, you see how people just worship them? You're like,
right.
wow, wow.
And it's, yep, that's, I mean, idol worship is a legit thing. I definitely believe there's a lot in the Bible that you can learn from. But they talk about worshiping the golden calf and all this stuff. Some of that sounds like ridiculous to us in a certain sense. But look how people fucking worship the shit out of celebrities. And some of these people aren't known for anything important. I think Kim Kardashian got famous because they leaked out a sex tape. They did it on purpose, just so everybody knows, just so she would get attention. And she's probably I don't know, man. Actually, like I want to talk to Chris at the 6-7 podcast because he got to work in Hollywood with some of these people, and Kim Kardashian was one of them. So
Really?
I want to know more about some of
He
his
worked with
experiences
her,
there.
huh?
Yes, but when I look at Kim Kardashian and some of these Kardashians, I do wonder if they are like Caitlyn Jenner, if they're inverted, if they're witches, if they're like evil as shit. But I don't know because
Well,
here's the
they
thing: you take
every man they get involved with, they ruin their whole freaking life. So I don't know. I feel sorry for any men that date those women.
I know they like eat them up and spit them out, and they became so rich and famous, and their dad wasn't like their father, like Cochran, the guy that fucking defended one of the main guys that defended O.J. Simpson. It's
Yes.
weird how they came into fame, but you had okay,
Hmm.
what was the first one? Was it Jessica Simpson? The first reality TV show, because I remember all this stuff. Well, they did the MTV thing where they had the reality shows where it was like oh, what was the name of those fucking things where they all like put all these like
The
young
real
people
world.
into these real world? Oh my gosh! So there's the real world, and then like over time you start realizing they do kind of script some of this stuff, but it's still entertaining because like they put like young people in a situation where they all start having sex, they're getting drunk, they're doing
The
crazy, they're
Hills.
getting into
Do you
dramatic
remember The
things.
Hills?
Yes, and then you had the
High
Jessica
school
Simpson with
kids,
that.
huh?
Yes. It's like doing the dumbest shit that you can freaking imagine. And then I got into Jackass. So
So
and
did
I like
I.
all of a sudden lately, Bam Margera stuff's been popping up, and I liked Bam. I mean, he's out of control, freaking nut, and probably freaking. I mean, I don't want to say what he worships or what. He got really dark, I think, for a long time. Unholy Matrimony and those shows that he did, but Viva La Bam. Anyways, he got sober and he's got a year of sobriety, so I'm like rooting for him because I love to see that. But when I was in college, I went to Washington State University, so I went to college between 2000 and 2004. During that time is when Jackass was becoming a thing, and they were actually doing tours. But they would break up into threes and go and like do these stunts and stuff like that at different areas. Well, Steve-O, Wee Man, and Preston. Preston's the big fat guy. Wee Man, the little guy on the show. They came to Washington State University. Now we all showed up there. I'm like high and a little drunk and whatnot. And it was supposed to be no booze in there, because there's underage people, 18 and older, and blah, blah, blah. And it was basically the Steve O show. And I watched him eat a light bulb. I watched him,
I remember that.
yes, he had women throw their bras onto the stage and then he stapled the bras to his body. He he had done some circus stuff, so he was like really good at balancing and stuff like that. He balanced a full size ladder on his chin and then allowed people to throw plastic chairs at him. And so they made a video later on with this thing, and one of them was from the place that I was at, and I was front row. Anyways, some guy threw one of the plastic chairs and hit him in the back of his head so hard he had a permanent. He ended up getting a permanent one, but it hit him so hard, and he was like kind of like woozy and stuff like that. But he turned around to the guy and he's like, "Yeah, dude," and it was just like it's like hurt himself as much as possible. But it was kind of depressing because you saw the reality of it. They lit his hair on fire, and Preston fucked up where he didn't get the towel on it and put it out, and so Steve-O had to run and grab the towel and like beat his head with it, and then wanted to fight Preston like this was real, like this wasn't staged. And then afterwards, he's like, well, that trick didn't go as planned, but who wants to see it go right? You could see though, like how depressed this guy was, and how like controlled by the drugs and the lifestyle it was. So, anyways, what I'm saying is like and I got into this stuff. I'm not trying to lie. I was big into Hollywood. I was big into Eminem. I got into ICP, Insane Clown Posse. I got into Marilyn Manson, Antichrist Superstar. I was into all this shock rock and like all this stuff at all those times. But you see it now from a different lens when you start learning the realities that are going on when the Jessica Simpsons, the Osbournes became a thing. Ozzy just passed, but now have you seen? I don't know if you've seen what Kelly Osbourne looks like now, but I think her and Sharon are both taking that Ozempic drug, and they've lost so much weight they look like skeletons. It's creepy. But the Osbournes became a thing, and it was like young kids saying like the F word and shit and all that kind of stuff all the time. And so that desensitized younger youth at that time to swearing more. And now you have full blown like whatever porn kids can get their hands on, they can watch. And you're just seeing this, and they did the exact same thing. So there's a lot of like I don't know if you've ever heard of the Europa series that they did on Hitler and what happened in Germany. Well, it's a different take, and I don't know if I necessarily believe all of it, but they do have certain journals and things that they quote. But what was happening in Germany at that time before Hitler came into power was that there was like sex shops and demoralization through over sexualization and corruption and all that kind of stuff. And the rich were, you know, making tons of money and people couldn't get by and that kind of thing. It was a degrading culture, as far as I understand it. And then Hitler came in and made things better, but he got rid of all that stuff. He got rid of all the porn. He got rid of all the sex shops. He got rid of all of that and allowed people to make a livable wage and all that kind of stuff. And that's what allowed Germany to become this engineering powerhouse. He flipped it around and he made things better. And then you have the various stories. So you wonder if Hitler was really a good guy or if it was a psyop. Some say he was a Rothschild and he was a plant and he did do these things, but it was always meant to become another reason to make Jews a scapegoat of the world and everybody should feel sorry for him. I
Right.
don't know what's all true with that stuff, but when you hear about some of this stuff and the various psyops that have been going on for a long time, it makes you really question everything. But the reality of it is that one way to destroy any culture, and this is in the color revolutions and in the books of the Freemasons and all that, is to over sexualize and degrade society by skewing the lines between whether it's pedophilia, what's allowed sexually, what's allowed for marriage, and the various things, and the degrading of anything
Yes.
traditional is gone. And so what we're also seeing here with like the Kalergi plan, I don't know if I say that right, Kalergi plan that's been going on for a while, is what they want is a melting pot. So they want to get rid of white people. They want to get rid of the white race. They want to get rid of culture. They want to get rid of the Scotland heritage and the Irish because they're the fighting Irish and they have a proud culture, the Brazilian culture, these powerful, beautiful cultures. They've decimated the Native American culture, which was a very spiritual and powerful people, and they fucking desecrated the shit out of them, and not enough is said about that. And I see Karen Ann is here, and I think she knows more than most on that situation. They have desecrated the Native Americans, perhaps some of the most
Put them
spiritual
on
people.
reservations, gave them, oh, here you can sell liquor, here, liquor, drug them out.
Right, and unfortunately, some of their own people, just like all people groups, turn on their own people. If you go back in time and you learn about the Moors, a lot of slavery was going on of the black people, African Americans, by black people. The Moors were powerful African American, black people, whatever you want to call them, that enslaved their own people. So a lot of the Native Americans, well, not a lot of them, some Native Americans turned on their own people because they got fat on the hog in these reservations by giving into the corruption and enslaving and allowing for the degradation of that people group. So you see how they've done it with different people groups, and now they want to do it all over the world with this immigration that's happening everywhere. If you go to parts of Germany, it doesn't look like Germany. It looks like fucking Ethiopia. If you go to
Yes.
some places of America, now we have an issue where there's Somalians all over with Ian Omar up in Minnesota, I believe it is. It's like certain areas are now becoming unrecognizable to the culture that it was. And once they destroy that culture and that religion and what made something special, now we shouldn't divide ourselves on those differences. We should celebrate our differences. We should enjoy what we come from as a people and who we are in our heritage and have pride in that. Not so much that we want to war with somebody else, but what they're going to do is they're going to destroy all that. They're going to take it out of our genetics through a lot of the programs, the biodigital convergence, the vaccination program, all these various ways that they do it. But then with the merging of different sexes and different cultures having sex and having babies, you're basically slowly but surely getting
they're
rid
and
of
they're
all
they're
the
they're
culture.
they're pushing that on social media too. The mixing, like
Yep.
the mixing, those power couples will get pushed out on there. Now you used to never see it, but now you see a lot of white men married to black women being pushed
Yes.
out onto social media heavily, and they're just
Yeah. Yes. Europa last battle. Just watch. I always say watch everything with discernment because I believed in Fall of the Cabal. I believe there were truths in that. I have no idea what happened to Osmond if she really committed suicide. I tend to think that maybe she did. Maybe she started to realize that she had been. I don't know. I don't want to make up any narrative because I don't fucking know. But they found her dead, and she's no longer. And she was the voice of Fall of the Cabal. I thought she was trying to do great work, exposing a lot of very important things like sex trafficking, like the prevalence of human trafficking in the bloodline families that do a lot of this stuff. However, there's a lot of families that still don't get talked about enough. It's like the Italian mafia, it never gets talked about. You talk about the ooze, you talk about the Jesuits, you talk about all this shit. You don't talk about the Italian mafia, the Orsinis, and all this kind of stuff, which I think are doing just fine. But the Europa, the Last Battle, might make you think a little bit differently about Hitler. It'll at least show some things that in there that I think that you'll learn there wasn't like 6 million murdered, that some of that stuff was completely hyped up, and I'm not saying it's completely false. I'm just saying like everything that is in the history books we have to always remember, and it's a saying that goes on: the history books are written by the victor.
right.
Who is often the victor in history? The most evil, powerful motherfuckers, because everybody else just wants to fucking live a nice, pleasant life. While evil
Right.
motherfuckers are evil 24/7 and always plotting on how to take advantage of the people that aren't paying attention. And so the biodigital convergence is that evil that is now trying to take advantage of us while we are not paying attention.
Right.
And the victor in the end will be AI, and it'll rewrite, as we're already seeing. It is rewriting history right now. Things are being changed. Google searches are being changed. What you can find on certain information is being harder to find. I was working with a couple guys just yesterday. We were trying to look up information about what George Bush Sr.'s role was during the time of the Kennedy assassination, and they have made it murky as to what he was doing. Now, I think he was working with the CIA as some kind of in some kind of a position while also being a part of some petroleum company. But I'm just saying they made it hard to find. And these were things that Trump was supposed to come into office and expose. He was supposed to release all the JFK files, so we were supposed to
Right.
learn more about that. We haven't arrested anybody or done shit. He was supposed to release the Martin Luther King Jr. Files, which I haven't heard a dang thing about. And then the Epstein files are drip, drip, drip. I think just to distract. While now we have freaking Iran situation going on, where now we have a whole new distraction, and something that the man that was supposed to come in and end the wars within 24 hours and bring peace is now participating in more war than Biden ever did.
Right. That
So,
switched up really fast, didn't it?
right. So there's just things that should be talked about that aren't getting talked about. And who knows what's going to happen to Maxwell. She very well could get a pardon. I think she's living in a cush situation as far as prison goes, if it's even her in there. Now you can talk about Diddy and Maxwell. We don't know if they got clones or if they got doubles in
Right.
there acting
I,
as them while they're living high on the hog somewhere.
right.
I don't know, man. You don't know what's real anymore, but you know that they look out for each other, and anybody that's that powerful, that has that much knowledge of what really is going on in the world to certain extents, as far as blackmail goes, and the child trafficking and the ways of the world and the way it works with the blackmail, and how the whole economy is a blackmail economy. I don't know, man. I don't know if any of these people actually face the justice that they
I don't really
deserve,
think they
because
do. I don't.
I tend to think that they don't until we actually demand it and actually do something about it. There was so much powerful patriotism that did happen, regardless if you want to say it was Q that was involved in that, the Truther movement. 2019, 2020, there was so much patriotism. And ever since then, it just feels like a demoralization campaign, and more slowly starting to realize, holy crap, I think we've been duped. Or even the ones that are, some of them have just completely disconnected and tried, pretty much gone back to a more normie lifestyle, if you will. Like they
I've
just,
noticed that big time. They don't want to talk about it now. They're just
Yep.
bring back
They
the
just went back
TikTok
to everything that
dancing
they were doing
nurses.
before. Right. And it's probably a psychological struggle because they say, like, once you've been red pilled, you can never forget it. I don't see how anybody can turn their backs on the children and the sex trafficking going on. I guess if you feel like you can't do anything about it, then what's the point of stressing yourself out? I don't know. Is that the way that they think about it? I can't do it. That's why I'm still doing this. That's why I don't go out and get a different job and don't have time to do this. I want to keep doing this, and and I have more of a pay it forward operation, so I get some donations coming in, but I don't do anything behind a paywall. And I just, if people like what I do, then I'll keep going and I'll keep doing this. I have hopes that we can turn this around. I'm doing whatever I can to help get Sabrina Wallace's information out there.
You've changed a lot. Your page, like you've changed a lot. I've seen you grow and like really understand the components of the biodigital, and you're helping so much and bringing it out there.
I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. If you go to the YouTube, especially YouTube, as much as they pissed me off and pissed a lot of people off with the censorship, for some reason they've changed a lot of their ways, and maybe now they're just so far into the biodigital convergence that pride will be their downfall because they think they're already too far ahead. They're allowing a lot, and I'll give them the props where they're due. But I have created playlists. Some of the first videos that now Sabrina ever did is now in a playlist called the Vintage Vault. So you can watch the early videos of Sabrina where she's explaining things. And then I have the Sabrina Wallace shorty shorts. So if you're a person that has attention deficit disorder, like I tend to have, like we all do, you can just binge watch shorty shorts. And if something catches your attention, it should be linked to the video that it comes from, and then you can go check out the full thing. And Sabrina does a great job as far as varying the length of her videos. Like when she goes into teacher mode and she does her lives, she could go on for 3 to 5 hours. But she does a lot of videos, and some of those are like, I don't have time, Sabrina, but I love it. I throw it on 2.5 or two times speed at least and try to burn through them and get as much as I can. But if you get into these videos that are 10 minutes long, 22 minutes long, 35 minutes long, and she varies it up. So you can get into some of the information, and the more, I promise you, if you're new to it, or if you're becoming new to it, if you're watching this live or watching a replay, I mean, you probably know about Sabrina Wallace if you're following Dawn. I didn't know she was 49,000 people on freaking Facebook. Way to go, Dawn, kicking some ass over here, getting this information out there. But like, if you're looking to like share something with people, and I'm not doing this to promote me, I'm just doing this because I want to help. I have this thing going on in my community where some people are authors and they've written books. Some people are selling balms. Some people are joy in the face of adversity is an act of rebellion. This is Clarity. She has shirts. Sabrina Wallace has a line of shirts. I am promoting people in the community. I asked for nothing. They did not ask me to do that. I want to believe that stuff like that still happens. That people still open the doors for people. That people still care enough just to do a nice thing for the sake of doing a nice thing.
My whole Facebook is promote everyone. Anybody who's helping, I will promote you on my page for free.
Right. I've seen that, and that's what I've seen with Dawn. When you asked me to come on, I was super stoked. I didn't even know if you were still doing like some of these lives or anything like that.
I just started
yes.
I just figure I've got this platform now, and people want to watch us talk about it, and it's not rehearsed. We're just talking, and they know they can trust us because we can talk about it honestly like this.
Right. And it's just real people having a conversation. There's no script. We're gonna say things weird, or we're gonna get caught in our minds because all these frequencies I don't know what we're being attacked. But every once in a while, I'll be in the middle of a sentence, be like, "Fuck, I forgot what I was talking about." Now, some of that's normal like human behavior, I guess. But is it normal? Because I think the frequencies that are coming in all the time are scrambling our brains. However, we're just real people, and I see that you're just doing this because this is important. Like I will actually feel like I didn't do what I should have done, or I'll question why I didn't do it, or what would have happened if we did do this. If people like me and Dawn weren't out here doing this, and we're just small potatoes compared to a lot of the influencers out there. I wish this would move to more influencers, and some of the ones that are talking about it are also selling fucking products, and some of the products are ones that are not going to be good for this biodigital convergence. You are literally helping connect people to the hive mind. You are literally helping put the building blocks of exactly what they want in the body in order to continue the rollout of bio to digital. And these people act like you're fucking heroes. And that's what drives me nuts. So a lot of what I did, like I said in the past, was call out a lot of psyops and grifters. I still kind of do that, but I've gotten away from it because I'm tired. I want to just do the biodigital convergence stuff, but every once in a while somebody pops back up and I gotta say something because no one else will. No one else has got the, like, I don't even know. I don't even think I'm not tough. I'm not trying to like act like I'm a like badass or anything like that. But as scared as I get, as much anxiety as I get coming on here, I'm willing to freaking call these people out and show up if they ask me to show up and dare me to, because these people do not have truth on their side. And I believe I know enough to have conversations with any of these people and prove that they're full of shit. And I don't know it all, and I don't claim to. I know a portion of what Sabrina Wallace shares. I know a portion of some of this information, but all you have to do is know enough to know it's not good for the future of our children.
Yep.
It's not good for the future of humanity, and it's rolling in faster than anything I've ever seen.
It is so fast. Like every day, I'll go online and see them put out some new white paper or something, and I'm like, oh Lord, look at that. It's already here. Wow, wow, wow. Or you go watch the YouTube videos of them sitting there talking about it, and you're like, oh shit. It's further than I even thought it was. Oh wow.
Right? And people don't want to believe it, but Sabrina just shared something with me, and I think she did some in some videos she was doing, how Coors paid to be able to run influences on people's dreams. What are we talking about here? So apparently Coors isn't like allowed to advertise at the Super Bowl. So they went a different path because I think Super Bowl is
Wow.
pretty much owned by
I didn't
Budweiser.
see that.
You
I'm
know,
gonna have to go research that.
yeah, go look it up. I bet that somebody could share it with you real quick. I think I still have the link or whatever. It's a paper about how Coors is running a soundscape 8 hour kind of influence into people's dreams. Well,
Wow.
I would assume that that also includes the Rockies opening up and people drinking booze or something. I don't know. I can only imagine what is really involved there. But even if it was just like a beautiful soundscape as they try to make it out to
I don't
be,
want them in
but
my head.
it had brought to you by Coors. It's still
And
going to be in
suddenly
your
everybody's
fucking
drinking
head.
Coors.
Right. And it's an alcohol. I mean, as a person that's been in sobriety who had an issue with alcohol, how can they do that? But it's a legit thing. It's being talked about in a mainstream like news article. How can they have the rights to do that? What the heck is going on? The paper talks nothing about the ethics and shit in it, as far as I remember. But anyways, this is a legit thing. They're nudging our dreams. They're nudging us in our waking life. They're doing that with these platforms and devices, even if you don't think about it. So that dream thing is just something to be like, holy smokes. Like if they're even just talking about this, it's probably been going on a lot longer than what it is because everything that they bring out has already been happening for years, probably before it ever got talked about in the public sector. But just think about how these things influence us. Like when you're scrolling through something and it just pops something up in the way that it elicits an
Right?
emotional response based on what it knows about you. Like all of a sudden, I'm starting to see Bam Margera videos pop up. And when I first got into my crazy, really time in my life, like still in high school and stuff like that, I started experimenting with drugs and drinking more. I got into what was called CKY, and it was Bam Margera before Jackass. It was basically the prototype for what Jackass became. But it was like, you know, he was a skateboarder, but they were doing crazy stuff. Like, and it was putting themselves like in shopping carts and then pushing each other into bushes. Just stupid brain dead stuff. But it was entertaining and funny. Well, it's like what? Is it like because I'm trying to be a more straight and narrow person, if you will, or just I don't know, a sane person, and now all of a sudden they're trying to influence me with one of my temptations that was from my childhood? It's weird. Like why all of a sudden am I seeing all the Steve-O videos and all these Bam Margera videos? It's crazy how it works.
It is crazy. It is crazy. They're getting me so bad, Booma. I'm gonna have to cut this short. Holy shit. Like I am burning. I am burning up. They're
Right.
literally, I don't even know what this is, but literally they keep getting me and I am burning up. like
Well,
just
Dawn, it was
burning
an
up.
honor to be here. So
I
we'll continue a
have to
conversation
get off my
afterwards.
phone for a little bit
Please,
now. Like
please
this
keep
is
me
nuts.
posted, and let me know how you're doing, okay? Because Facebook was one of the first DARPA programs, so Facebook has a
Yes,
lot
and
of power
they're
in this.
not
So
I'm like seriously, my legs are sweating, dripping
yeah,
sweat on my chair right now. This is
they might
insane.
not be too happy that you did this, but thank you for doing what you do here on
Yes,
this
and
platform.
everybody go find Booma. You know, you can see there's links all over my page. Find him, follow him on all his platforms. He's got
I
really, really
appreciate
good
it.
stuff. And he has the short little Sabrina clips, and those are the ones that people like.
Yep. Thank you all. Love you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night, everyone.